just so you know, you're aware. But first of all, chat, welcome in. We're starting a bit early, but I don't care because this is one of my favorite discussions and favorite people that I like to talk to about just content creation support and just streaming in general. I remember the first time I went into his stream, we had like at least an hour while he was playing Call of Duty, just talking about the things that we were seeing that people were like just nitpicking on about streaming. It was just like it like gave us icks almost at that point. But we bonded over just having general discussions about stuff. So like when I reached out to him about an interview and he said yes, I was really excited. So first of all, welcome in, Dark.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me just let's back up a few thousand steps really quickly. So
Go
what
ahead.
so what got you into streaming first of all?
Um, Good question. Well, in the beginning, I wanted to be like other streamers, just stream just to have pleasure in doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was to overcome some fears, like talking. It might seem crazy, but talking to a screen, sometimes makes you feel like a lunatic because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So because you are talking to nobody, and you know. So for me, it was like to be able to talk with other people in the internet. So because I'm a shy person, so for me, it's like a huge step,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided to give it a go, and here we are.
Well, that's awesome. Glad you're here, and I'm glad that this is like help you overcome some of those fears. And you started off on Twitch, right? Or were you just
Exactly.
what was
Exactly.
what was it like for you over on Twitch?
Well, on Twitch, it was, I would say in the beginning, it was fun,
Mm-hmm.
but when time goes by, you start to see like it's a complicated path because there's a lot of streamers,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like an idea in general that in order to be successful, yeah, I'm gonna say it this way, but sometimes some big streamers start to shit on the low end streamers. I would say like it was becoming a little difficult to continue on Twitch because in the beginning there's like a support, but with time that support goes away, and people will follow you, but they expect something back, something in return. So in the beginning it was fun. So with time, I started losing like how can I say this? Like it was tough. Twitch, it was difficult for me. In the beginning it was nice, but then with time I started to like, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta stop. So I stopped for a couple months until Kick appeared, and it was a new beginning, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So I know I kind of had the same interaction with Twitch, is that like I met some people, we came close, we were supporting one another, and then it was almost like everybody started getting this kind of like ego of like, oh, I'm the streamer and you're supposed to support me, but we're all streamers and it makes no sense. But I would say when we met through Twitter and we met through Kick and all that, we've been seeing a lot of people. What's the best way I could describe this? We've been seeing a lot of people being more supportive, being there as best they can, or trying to at least. Like, what is your experience has been with Kick so far overall?
Amazing. That's a couple points I like. I don't identify with, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess it comes with the job. I would say it's part of it. Kick, since it's a new platform, it's a new experience. It's something new for people to enjoy. Like when you see some streamers like they started on Twitch and then Kick appeared, people start losing hope on Twitch. And when Kick appeared, they started stream again, starting up that fun to stream.
Mm-hmm.
So Kick for me so far, it will it has been amazing meeting so much new people, and there's still something that annoys me a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess it's normal because you can't be everywhere. So like I would say the fake support because there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's for some for me kick it's a community kick in itself, and
Mm-hmm.
there's then you can divide that by groups, which is which is normal, I would say, which is normal. But kick for me personally, it has been amazing so far.
Yeah.
It has been something I could not accomplish with Twitch.
Yeah. I will say that a lot of the people that I've met over here on Kick have been some of the most genuine supporting people I've met. Now, like I think like with anything, you're gonna have like what we've been calling these like these snakes in the grass kind of thing. People doing their fake supports or people kind of just trying to be out for themselves more than anything. Um, but I will say that the people that I've met over here on Kick have been some of the most supportive people I've ever met in the streaming world, like regardless of Twitch, Kick, Facebook, or whatever. And it's been like it's almost been refreshing to see. And when I was interviewing like Vit the first time, he was kind of mentioning is like a lot of these people who come over here to Kick have been like people who have either been struggling to get support or have dealt with so much stupid drama and just negativity and all that, and they want to come here for a different change and kind of like set the tone of positivity, support, and love for one another. And I can attest that for the most part. Like I said, when I met you through Twitter and I met you in your streams and all that, you like one of the things that I want to bring up too, like that's why I'm trying to segue to this, is how you operate your Twitter. Now, most people operate their Twitters in a sense of they're all about themselves, they're all about their streams, they're all about X, Y, and Z. But you operate Twitter differently, and it gives me a breath of fresh air. Like when you see someone that needs support, you have no issue posting out a tweet with their Kick link, saying where they're currently at, what they're trying to get to, and all that. And it's like regardless of the person, like you have a genuine heart for just showing support. Why is that?
uh like I would say like this, I want for other people what I want for myself. If
Okay.
I was in the same situation, I, of course I would like someone to help me out. And
Mm-hmm.
it is free. It's something that is free. And unfortunately, what we can see in the beginning, the support starts for some people, and in like along the way, that all fades away. So for me, it's kind of natural. Like it doesn't bother me like doing the shout outs and helping people get where they are supposed to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
like even though like they don't get much followers as they are supposed to, that gives them like a little hope that this path will be something fun, something to enjoy.
Right.
uh, so like I said before, and I said a couple times, I don't do this like to get recognized. I do this because I want to,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not expect something in return. Some people might see this as like clout, I would say, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, I view it like I do it with pleasure. I like to help people because I would like the same for me. So it's my point of view. So it's how I see things, and it's like normal. I would say it's normal if I see someone like, even though I don't follow that person, and if I see like they are saying, uh, I'm like 20 followers away from affiliate, I'm going to do a shout out because
Right.
probably the people who follows me, they're going to see that, so they're going to eat that follow, probably they're going to identify with that person, and they will going to watch their streams. And
It's true. Like I think like when more people get to know you and they see your genuine heart towards your actions and towards what you're going after, when you shout somebody out or try to support someone by giving them like a tweet about it, more people are going to want to try to support the people that are being supported by genuine people. And I see it a lot from like the people who have been like through and through. Like when the people that you support, they've always come. Like I've seen a lot of people like flock to the tweets and all that, either dropping a follow or talking for a little bit or here and there. Same thing with like some other people, and it's almost like I said, it's almost like a refreshing take. But you do bring up a good point, is that sometimes the support kind of ebb and flows. Like, it's like they support to a certain point, and then they kind of go back to whatever they were doing, which is fine. Like, it's their lives. But I've been seeing a lot more talks on Twitter and in like streams about that, about what support is and what support isn't. Like, so for you, what is support?
Well, good question. That's a good question. Exactly for how can I say this? For some people, like support is like giving subs.
Mhm.
For some, it's just being in the chat, talking with that person in particular. For some, it's just lurking, etc. It can be support as many ways, many shapes, and forms. And unfortunately, lately, that has been like a debate on that word support. What is it?
Mhm.
And um, it's kind of hard to like say what really is. S- I can view support in a way that's probably someone else will see it in another way. So it's hard to say exactly what it is.
Mhm.
And for me, it's like my support. I, like you can't be everywhere. It's impossible. You
Right.
can't be at, even though, for example, you follow like 1,000 people, you can't be in those 1,000 streams at a time. It's impossible, because like you said, everyone has a life besides streaming. So it's technically impossible.
Mhm.
Probably you can do tabs and stuff, but you won't be able to be at everyone streams and like talking. For me, it's like if I can shout out someone on Twitter, if I can like uh, comment on a tweet, or like trying my best to be at someone's stream, like asking how they are. And it's my type of support. For some, it probably work differently than I work. So
No,
it's a difficult like.
it's a difficult thing to describe, is what you're
Is
trying to say.
exactly, yeah.
So,
It's tough.
because here's my take that I've been on it, is that I view support as like many different levels. So think of it like a video game. Like you have your beginner level, your easy, medium, hard, chaotic levels, whatever it may be, right? Some of the easiest stuff in the world to do, leave a lurk, retweet, like a tweet, whatever. Those simple things, those are like easy level stuff. Like easy level because it's easy effort. You don't have to put much into it, right? and
Exactly.
and then there's like some of like the more crazier sides of support, where you're gifting subs, you're talking in chat, you're trying to do X, Y, and Z for the streamer, maybe it's even modding. But and this is something that I have to like kind of like keep in that mentality when I stream as well, and when I talk to people, is that like, is it still support whether the person wants it or not? So for example, like I'm not gonna name names just because there's no need to, but somebody recently got banned in somebody else's stream because
Exactly.
what happened was, this person was streaming, they had a down moment in their game before the next lobby started, so they went to one of the streamers that they were supporting at the time, that they were lurking while they were streaming, and they said like, they did like an emote, or they said like hi with a heart, and they just banned them because they were live streaming while doing it, because they thought they had malicious intent. So like, and I know there's some people who are always saying like lurkers are not supporting. I know other people who say like, putting an emote in the chat is not supporting. But to me, it's depending on the situation, depending on the person, it may be still supporting, but it may not be something that you necessarily want as your current support at the moment. So like, I guess my question is this: even like we've talked about support being in many different forms, and there may be some streamers that don't want certain support or they're looking for a different kind of support. Do you still think that's still support, even though that may not be what the streamer may want at the current time?
I would say yes, and I would say no, but like it's 50-50 because it will be my point of view. For some people,
Yeah.
what they want, for some streamers, what they want is just you to come into their chats, like asking how they are and how's their day and how's the stream going, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I say, it's the only thing that probably annoys that person. It's like you probably said this a couple of times. It's the lack of the genuine connection with that person, and the
Mm-hmm.
fact they see probably the only time they like have that person in their chats, it's to have like an emote, and there is not much after that. It's only emotes, 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 and there's not a real talk. There's
Mm-hmm.
not a real connection. Probably that will be annoying for some people. Um, so it can be counted as support because at least you are trying to be there. So and some unfortunately they don't understand because they all about themselves. Some streamers, not it's not necessary to say names, but some streamers are only about themselves. They only
Mm-hmm.
want like like they are gods and we are just peasants. So we have to be there for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't like that. So for them, like to have like an emote,
Mm-hmm.
they will think like, oh, this guy is only here just to have like something back, something in return. Like there
Yeah.
was in the beginning, there was like I think we can talk about this, but
Mm-hmm.
there was the tab for tab, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so that was the first thing that right now people are just trying to avoid. And I don't know if Kick will see this, like having the fact that people only come to chats just to do only emotes, or
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if Kick will see this otherwise. I don't know what's their point of view about this. They can probably see this like as a fake, like as a tab for tab, for example. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying that it is, but we don't know what other people think. So it's only my point of view, and for me, it still counts as support. And it's unfortunate that some people like once they grow they tend to forget how they started. So
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is, unfortunately.
No, I think you bring a great perspective to it because, like, I think there is a level of cockiness and egoness to it. Like, it's hard for me to say one way or another because I don't view myself as a high up person because I don't think I am, but at the same time like I talk now like if I get high up I'm probably not going to be this way, but I hope not, I don't want to, um but I think support is such like it's such like a it's almost like a cooking instruction, like you have your what you want for your dinner, what you're going to do for your stream, what you do for your channel. And when you were first starting off, you may have been poor. You may have done like your instant ramens or some handouts or whatever. And now that you're kind of like on your own, making your own meals, being your own stream, you kind of want to see a different side of support. Like you probably want to see like more, more lurkers, or you want to see more chatters. And you may not be getting that because like probably people don't have the time or you haven't built the connections. And I think that's the hard part about talking about support, is because most of the support issues we talk about are between streamer and streamer, not so much streamer and chatter. And when I say chatter, I mean people who don't stream and are just here for, the entertainment purposes or whatever.
Exactly, exactly.
And like most of this, I don't want to say drama. I guess it is drama in a sense, but most of this drama and like nonsense, in my opinion, is coming from a place of just either they think they want more or think they deserve more, or it's like you said, it's a selfish kind of gain. Like I said, for me, if anybody wants to lurk, they're more than welcome to lurk. Anybody wants to just watch without following, they can watch without following. I can't tell them what to do.
Exactly,
And
exactly, which is normal.
mhm. And for me, like when someone gives me the time of day to either retweet my going live, to come and talk to me, either sit there and just enjoy what's happening, maybe leave a follow, maybe leave an email because they're busy streaming. I think that that's thoughtful. I think that's a form of support. Whether it's what I want at that current moment is a different story. Like if I said, "Hey guys, I would love to get more chatters into some of these, interviews. I would love to get XYZ." Like you got to be public with that stuff. You got to talk to the people about that stuff. Or give them a reason to want to talk. Like I think wanting something and making opportunities or reaching out to get that support are two different things. And like the tap for tap thing is a whole different thing because people were getting banned for it of the malicious intents they had, and that makes sense. But I think people in general need to come to a realization, and I said this in the second interview, and I kind of been saying it almost in every interview because it seems to be a point I like to bring up, is that everybody has a life. Everybody is not here to just be your viewer. Like if there are streamers as well, they have a job as well too. And if somebody is doing their job of entertaining and there's a down moment and they want to show me a little bit of love and basically saying they're thinking of me, I'm gonna take it. Like if you think someone is being malicious, I was saying this on Twitter earlier. Like if you think someone's being malicious, either ask them what they're doing or gather evidence of malicious intent. If you're too afraid to talk, go to their streams and try to figure out what's going on. Like I think it's just like a dual-ended street, like a friendship almost. Yeah, I mean exactly like a friendship. But if your friend is busy and they're not there to talk to you, are you gonna be mad because they're at work or anything like that, or they're busy? No, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, you have a life, you're doing something. And the same thing goes for you. If you needed something and you like reached out and someone else was busy because of whatever X, Y, and Z, I would presume you would understand because they have a life as well. And I feel like the big thing you said was like the ego god complex. People just kind of lose sight of that once they get to whatever level of success they have, whether it's be, all these followers, this verified check mark, whatever it is. And I guess the kind of like the thing I want to like I keep thinking about when I talk about support is how do we appropriately talk about the support we're trying to get without sounding selfish. You know what I mean?
Well, that's something it always be hard to do. Like, for example, let's see it this way. I'm going to see like you didn't see this kind of support on Twitch, and most of the times, most of the people on Twitch were just chatters. Right now on Kick, most of the viewers are streamers as well,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing that I would say personally for me, it's like you are allowed to go on someone's stream and like doing an emote. You are allowed to like just put like say hi and disappear. You can do whatever you want. The only thing that should be avoid it's when you go to someone's stream and say hello, I'll be streaming now, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that should be avoided. And unfortunately, some people right now on Kick, they didn't, they like how can I say this? They weren't like at the same state as they are now. For example, some of those big streamers right now we have on Kick, they did not exist on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And right now there's like it's difficult like for some people everyone has their own point of view of things, and it's really hard to make people understand how things work, and it's you cannot say like you cannot say that people should think this way, people should do this,
Mm-hmm.
people should do that. each people can do whatever they want,
Mm-hmm.
as long as they stay respectful to the person they are like either viewing or they are streaming to other people. Because there are some like some streamers, unfortunately, once they go big, they either like going to say to you like, I don't need your support, I don't give a fuck, and I have enough viewers,
Mm-hmm.
so get lost, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sensible like a difficult subject when it comes talking about support. And right now, the last couple of weeks, I would say it's been like talked every day about it. People
Mm-hmm.
doing like those tweets about it and this and that. Everyone has their point of views, and sometimes people tend to not respect that. And once they don't respect it, either they go to insult you, or they're going to say you're wrong, I'm right. And it's difficult. It's a touchy subject, I would say.
No, it is a touchy subject. Like I've been seeing a lot more on Twitter, people being more outspoken about their opinions, which is fine. Like freedom is you have your freedom of speech as long as you be respectful. Well, I mean, at least in America, you have freedom of speech. So let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that statement. Okay, let me rephrase that. You can speak your opinion. There's nothing against the terms of service or illegal about speaking your opinion. And I think in general, there's like how you talked about. There's got to be some kind of like what I like been saying is streamer etiquette, and it's not just for the person going live. It's for being as a streamer going to support someone else. Like, I don't think anybody should ever be like, "Hey, I got you. I'm lurking. I'm gonna go to my stream now." Like it's not proper etiquette. That's like going into a restaurant as you being a restaurant owner and be like, "Hey guys, I'm about to open up my restaurant, but I just want to let you know, you guys are doing a great job." And then walking out and they'll be like, "What?" It makes no sense. But going back to like just talking about, you know, opinions, it's been wild to see just so many different opinions over so many different subjects. And I appreciate like discourse. I appreciate, respectful conversation and all that. But I've been seeing a lot of people just hard stuck in their opinions and in their feelings because they may have a certain idea of something, and if you disagree with them, they get real offended, like you're going after their character. Like to the point where like why have this kind of discourse and why talk about things if people are just not gonna hear the other side of the argument or listen? Like, do you think that a lot of people have also just been taking things a lot more personally than they should when it comes to these kind of opinions?
Yes, I would say yes. Some I would say some people view streaming as a job, which it is for some people, and some people just don't like that you like. There is one thing you are entitled to.
Mm-hmm.
It's your own opinion. And even though sometimes we can be wrong, which is normal, it's normal to be wrong in some things. And some people unfortunately do not accept if you have your own opinion. And like when you say something that goes to in the other way of the road, I would say they tend to be like you are hurting them, or like you are being disrespectful towards them. And like if they say this is a cat and you will say this is a dog, they will not accept that you said this is a dog, because
Mm-hmm.
for them this is a cat and that's it, and the conversation ends there.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So it's some people have their own opinions, and they are like I would say how can I say this, they cannot see other people's opinions as something that is right. They see it as a form of attacking. Like I've been seeing like some tweets and this is something that quite annoys me. And someone does a tweet about something, and instead of people like giving their own opinion, like they are afraid of doing so, so they are going to accept what that person said, and that ends there. Even though probably they think that person is wrong, but they will say that person is right in a way. And Twitter right now for me it's like a jungle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's tough. Like in the beginning, Kick was nice and all, and right now the snakes are coming out, and we are seeing things we are not supposed to see, and it's like everyone is throwing rocks at each other. One thing is right. Everyone has, I would say, glass ceilings,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So
Yeah.
I don't right now the only good thing to do is like step aside a little bit of Twitter, like to avoid those kind of things, because right now people are just they don't name anyone, they just like throw the tweet out, and like they are trying to insult someone but they don't say who it is. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they are afraid of the backlash,
Yeah.
because you know what, on Twitch, unfortunately, some, if you like, I don't say insult, if you talked about, you have your opinion about some streamer, their supporters will going to attack you. That happens a lot, and which is unfortunate, because you know, right
Yeah.
now Twitter, it has been complicated to see some things, and I wanted to like reply, but I think to myself, just step aside. Don't say
Mm-hmm.
anything. It's better this way, just
Mm-hmm.
to avoid it.
Yes. Like, and I kind of agree with what you're talking about, but I also it's such a finite line to walk on when you're talking about calling out shitty behavior, like on Kick or whatever, or in streaming in general. Like, there's a lot of people who've been doing like these like not anonymous tweets, but like without tagging anybody or whatever, and like what they're saying, may resonate as true or mostly true or whatever, and I agree to some stuff, but like it's such a dangerous line when you start calling out people, because if you start being the martyr and start calling out somebody for doing something wrong, and you don't have any like backwards kind of evidence to kind of like back up the claim, you know what I mean? It becomes it just becomes like you're just being an asshole to somebody, because like I said, their supporters are not going to know what you're talking about because you didn't have the evidence or whatever, and they're just going to attack you, and then your supporters are going to attack their supporters and attack them for being a shitty human being, and it's like an all-out blindless war. And I like how you said jungle. Like, Twitter is a jungle. Like, it's hard to navigate sometimes, and once you see something dangerous, you're like, do I speak up? Do I say something? Or do I just kind of like just keep scrolling and keep going through and trying to navigate without trying to like do anything? It's like stepping through a landmine, a field of land mines, and like you're trying to choose which mine do you want to like set off right now. I think there's like a lot of people just not talking to each other and not asking about certain things, and then there's a lot of people just you know doing these kind of behaviors, these shitty behaviors, whether it's malicious, selfish, whatever. And a lot of people are too afraid to speak up because they either don't want the drama, or they don't want to be, as like they say, as like the first one to throw the stone kind of thing. But that goes over like many different like reasons or categories. So a lot of it's like just basically figuring out what war do you want to start or what war do you want to fight in, because some of these like conversations are like some of the easiest. Like, if someone says like, oh, this, like, I hate people who just drop emotes and don't build connections, I think, yeah, that's a basic thing. Like, I get it. Like, that's a lot of streamers feel that way because a lot of streamers want to build connections, but why would you say that without it being done by you, by somebody? Like, why don't you just talk to the person and be like, hey, I would love to build more of a connection with you, and not just have you drop email to my chat like, can we do something, or what's up with this? But I've been seeing a lot more people either too afraid to reach out to somebody that they have an issue with, or too afraid to call it out, how we're saying, because of their worried about the drama or backlash. Um, but it's like I said, it's just wild to see all this stuff. And like there's been a lot of things where like I've just been like especially this week, I've just been kind of like silent on Twitter on most things, just because like I'll see some of this stuff and I'll see some of these interactions and I'm just like, I don't want to like talk to, I don't want to like have like a disagreement with somebody right now because like I don't know how they're gonna respond. um or it's like, is it even worth like just giving a breath of air and time to share an opinion just to have it be like not dismissed, but just not even like considered, you know what I mean? And like I said, maybe that's just my insecurities about who I am or what I have to say, or just not knowing enough about the person in the conversations or whatever. Um, but like like you said, everybody's entitled to their opinions. I personally just wish there was a more healthier way to discuss and have discourse over these opinions rather than reading tweets and trying to imagine how the person is talking based on their punctuation or whatever, or the verbiage that they use. Um, but in general, I think there needs to be a lot more either discussions or talking. I don't know which one it is, because like I said, like I think either people are too afraid to share their true opinions, too afraid to talk about who they're talking about, or they're too afraid to just reach out a DM and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Because they're worried about the backlash that they'll get. Because the internet's a ruthless place. Like it may be sunshines and rainbows on our side right now, but like you say one thing that somebody disagrees with, and they'll just shit on you for it, and they'll just go after you. They'll go after your throat. They don't care who you are. And I think that's such a horrible thing. And like if anybody ever comes to my defense, please don't. Like, if you want to stand up for my genuinity, do, but do not attack anybody. I just say that now because like I feel like I never said that before. Don't ever attack somebody on my behalf. If I'm going to attack somebody, I will attack them on my own behalf. Just be you. Do not have to get involved. But yeah, like a difference of opinions is such a fragile thing, and it's just wild right now. Uh, no, go.
like 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 for example, I would say this way. For example, science said we started as monkeys, so we are sometimes a bit aggressive towards some, like, if someone else has another opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, if you have two monkeys trying to get one banana, they are all going to fight for that banana. Just like it's the same thing. I would say like this. It's a bad comparison, but it's the same thing with streamers. Some streamers will fight for that viewer. Like we'll see the banana as a viewer. So some streamers will fight for that viewer. So that viewer sometimes either they are afraid to say what they think,
Mm-hmm.
and or they are afraid to take someone's position. Like for example, you like all the three streamers. For example, we'll see this way: you have three streamers, you have one viewer. That viewer likes those three streamers, but those three streamers are fighting against each other. It for the viewer, it's hard to take a position. I would say people right now are afraid to say what they think. Really, it's something that started in Twitch, and right now it's like I'm having that feeling of deja vu, like
Mm-hmm.
seeing something that happened already on Twitch coming to kick. And I don't know, it's something that I think that should be avoided. And even though sometimes you do not like accept someone's opinion, you do not need to attack that person. He is allowed to have an opinion. You are allowed to have your own opinion, but there is no need to attack someone. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I did a lot of tweets, like in general. I talked about in general about some things, and some people I know, they did not like those tweets.
Mm-hmm.
They felt like attacked, and it is not to attack someone, but it's to make them like feel like they have their feet on the ground. Because some people, unfortunately, with kick, they start to like go up the stairs, and they think I'm high, you are low, so they stay that way. And it's just to people like kick is something that is amazing. It's a new platform, but we know that one day is here, tomorrow probably it doesn't exist anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
we should enjoy the platform, not like trying to attack everybody, like I'm better, you are worse, you suck, I'm the best. It's it has been, I would say, some have been growing like a bit too fast, and they do not like have that enjoyment. They don't enjoy like streaming exactly. They do it for something else, which is not. It's not my. It's not how I see things. Streaming should be something that you enjoy, and should not be something like to make feel someone like they suck.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, unfortunately, and like right now people are trying to attack each other's on Twitter, like for no reason whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
because do not accept everyone's opinions.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think you bring up a very good point. Is that like streaming is supposed to be fun? Like, yeah, there's a business side to it because you can make money off of that. But like at the end of the day, it should be about having fun, building connections and community, and trying to have enjoy what time we have with it and while we're here. Like, I guess the best way I could say this is that like there's a lot of either jealousy, insecurity, or selfishness, whatever one you want to pick, that comes from a lot of people, not just from the up top people, but even down below. And I feel like these opinions get shared because either they see something they don't like and they're going to call it out, or it may seem like they're saying the exact same thing as you, but they're coming from a place of a broken heart or a broken understanding. Like I know I've done that. Like, and I've even apologized for that. I'm like, hey, listen, like I've said some stuff that even though it may be true, I know my heart's not in the right place, and I don't feel comfortable when it's not in the right place. Like if I feel like I'm doing something and I'm doing something with a genuine intent, like I have no issue standing up for what I believe in. But if there's something I'm just doing out of pure anger or jealousy or whatever it is, I feel bad about that because like there's just no need to just attacking everybody for whatever reason because you don't like how their version of how they're streaming, whether it's right or wrong or not. But there's actually an interesting question. The question is, so is venting on Twitter without name dropping the name, but then DMing the person afterwards because like is that okay? So like I guess let me rephrase the question a little bit better. Like if you say something very like vague but like calling stuff out, like, oh, these people need to stop being fake, these people need to stop doing this, we can see right through you, or even so to the effect of like, hey, streamers, just because you drop an emo doesn't mean you're building connection kind of thing, like we got to do better kind of thing. Like you're not deliberately calling somebody out, right? Is that okay even if you do or do not DM the person?
Well, it depends. If you have someone in mind when you do those tweets, I would say you should avoid to tweet it out, and probably talk with that person first before doing so, because probably you are the one who are in the wrong, and the way you see things, probably it's not the right way. And so, like it's complicated, because doing a tweet like that, I've done a lot. I've done
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those tweets with no one in mind in particular. It's just like a general thing. And not gonna lie, sometimes I did those tweets because probably I was like mad about something,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to like to put it out there like that.
Right, right, right.
There's no one like if you have something against someone, the best thing to do is to talk with that person in particular before doing like saying something out, because then you're going to start a war. Probably you are a friend with that person, and if you tweet it out before talking with them, probably you're going to ruin the friendship. And that's something that should be avoided. And why starting a war? Because unfortunately, if you start like saying like you tweet it out but you don't say names,
Hmm.
you're probably going to start like a war between either followers, and someone is going to take your position or the other person position. Some will like, I know you who you are talking about, so this person is this and that. There's no need for that. And unfortunately, some people they they do those tweets with someone in mind, but
Hmm.
but they rather not talk about or either say that person's name to avoid that backlash that followers will like attack you for X or Y reason, and there's no need for that, because I've seen a lot of tweets like that. People like they don't say that name, but they don't say it, but they say it at the same time. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you know who they are talking about.
Yeah, because usually they're not just doing it to you or whatever issue you have. They're not just doing it to that one person who made the tweet. They're doing it to other people, or they know you have an outspoken, we'll say, disagreement with that person. Um, no, like it's very interesting because like it's one of those fine lines like of like trying to come up with like a decent etiquette for people to be on the like Twitter and the internet, but at the same time knowing you can't control people's emotions, how they act, what they say, what they do. So like you said, like yeah, these not calling out but calling out tweets, like you can do them, but at the same time, like most of the time it's coming from a place of heart because you see somebody doing it. Like there's no reason you would be tweeting this unless you see someone or some people doing these things you don't like or whatever, whether it's dealing with streaming, whether it's politics or whatever in the grand scheme of things, right? But it's like do I just make do I hold up a sign saying streamers need to do better, like stop doing this, or do I just go to the root of the issue I have with and try to talk it out or try to get their understanding and see if they're even have the mindset to even talk about or being open to talk about these issues? Because there are a lot of people who get like messages that I know and they won't even respond to them because like I don't deserve, this person doesn't deserve my time of day for my explanation. I know I'm genuine. I'm like, okay. They're asking like, hey, like why you do this? Like I don't think if you have an issue with what you do, you wouldn't have an issue explaining yourself. But at the same time, I'm also understanding like they don't have to talk to people. They don't have to answer to people. They can just do their own thing. They have that free will in a sense to just do that. And that's where like this kind of like dual edge kind of knife of like walking on the internet is. Like I I hate to say this, like I think there is a general etiquette for people, but at the same time the etiquette's not like a term of service, so it's not like they're being held to these kind of things. And even though like they're not being held to these kind of standards or ideas, um we get upset with them because they're doing things the wrong way, whether it's like going to someone's stream and being like, hey, I'm lurking, but I kind of because I have to go to stream, like I'll talk to you later kind of thing. Or if it's just general like people just deliberately being malicious and just trying to steal your views or whatever, or steal your content or whatever you want to call it. um I think in general what I'm trying to get across is that streamers and the internet is like gasoline and fire right now. um and like there's a lot of people who I see just being more outspoken, which is fine, like, right? But now I feel like I have to like walk even more of a fine line or be the flamethrower that I am, and either be silent and just kind of like let things roll on by, or state my difference of opinion or be able to talk. But like I said, like there's so many people who just don't want to talk and they just want to say what they want to say. Like it's such a hard thing to talk about because like I said, I'm like battling even myself as I talk because like I said, I see both sides of each argument. Like, and I think that's the hard part is that I see both sides and both sides have legitimate reasons for what they do or how they do it. So like even like I said, like posting those like you're calling out but not calling out someone directly tweets, like you're in every right to do what you want to do. Like you have that freedom, you have that free will to do that, right? But in the overall scheme of things, is it benefiting or helping all these issues that are coming to light? And I guess like the next question I have to ask is that with having like issues like this in the streaming world, whether it's small or whether it's like something really big, like how do you think we should be handling issues in general when it comes to like streaming and all that?
Well, um,
These are hard
eh,
questions, right?
yeah, yeah, they are. So sometimes like it's hard to handle those things, either in a for me personally, you should always handle those things with a smile in the face. Like people are allowed to say what they think as long as they stay respectful
Hmm.
towards those who see those things. And probably you will think you can do something to fix that thing, that those problems, but unfortunately we cannot. And if it's something like towards ourselves, like they are like talking about ourselves, like you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, either you're going to like see that and see, am I doing something wrong, should I change something? And you should not like change how you are because people say so. Because if you know that everything that you've done so far from the beginning till now, it has been the right thing to do, you just have to keep it that way. And problems will always exist no matter what we do to try and fix them. They are always going to exist. It is part of it. Like saying this way, there is the yin and the yang, it's the bad and the good. That's It's all part of it. Sometimes we just, unfortunately, we just go uh, too deep on those problems and trying to figure out how we can fix them, but we cannot. Unfortunately, it's a reality. It's tough, but it's the reality. We cannot fix all the problems like we are talking in the streaming world. We cannot talk about other things, but in the streaming world, they're always going to exist, like even jealousy. There's going to exist people that are going to attack others because either they don't like how they do things and they think they are the ones who are doing the things the right way, etc. So problems will always exist no matter what we do. And even though we to get get the good vibes uh, within the streaming world, we just have to follow our path. If we feel like everything that we've done so far, it's going okay, it's the best thing we have done so far, we should keep doing it and forget about the problems that we're always going to be there. It's part of it. It comes with the job, I would say.
I like how you brought up that the yin and yang reference. I think a lot of people get caught up when they start streaming or they get into streaming of just staying positive and doing things and being being a light or whatever you want to call it. But there's also like with everything, there's a good side of it and there's a bad side of it. There's a give and there's a take. There's not every job is perfect, like you're gonna have something that either you love and the downside of it is like you may not get paid as much as you like, or you're doing something you absolutely hate, but the upside is you're getting, decent money for it or whatever. I think just goes with streaming as well. Like streaming is about building connections, having fun, meeting new people and entertaining, but there's also like a downside to it. There's also some bad sides to it. And if we spend a lot more time thinking about the bad sides than we do about the good, we're gonna get lost. We're gonna get lost off the tracks, and we're gonna be in this mindset of like you said, like this jealousy or kind of just frustration. Um, and that is like that's always a dangerous line because like I feel like for most people, in my opinion, most people have an easier time focusing on negativity and drama because that's what surrounds us so much than we do about positives and just being, respectful or whatever. And once one thing gets like stuck in our like way, let's say like there's like a brick wall in front of us, we kind of like want to complain about the brick wall more than about just moving around the wall and trying to get to where we need to go to next. Um, but like I said, people have the rights to be upset about certain things and feel how they want to feel. But like just like how you said with the yin and yang, I think there is always going to be bad and there's always going to be good, and you can always take your time on the bad later. But we should be really be focusing on the good side of things and trying to focus on that because if we focus on the bad, it's just going to derail our hearts about what we're doing. It's going to derail our mindset about what we're doing. And then all that we can think about is just the negative side of the streaming world. And I will fully admit, I have had those moments where like I have just been so stuck on the negative side that I kind of like lost track of the blessings that I've been given, whether it's followers, gifted subs, or even just people just talking in chat. Um, and I never want people to feel derailed from what they're doing because I don't want to feel derailed from what I'm doing. So I like how you like there's like even though you have like the capability and the ability to like think about this stuff or talk about this stuff, there's always got to be a fine line that we can draw almost like a response not like a responsibility but like a responsibility of like trying to just do what's best for us by focusing on ourselves and not so much about the negatives. um but with that being said, like what are some things that you do to try to stay away from the negative and more focus on positive things around you?
I try to focus on myself, and I see it this way. Um, to try and avoid those, honestly, you cannot avoid them because they're always going to be in your path. See them as like a rock on your shoe. So if you see something that like, for example, if I see something that it probably annoys me, I try to stay away from it because if I go into it too deep, I'm like a train. I'm going to derail. I'm going to follow another path that I do not want to. So I want to stay in like, not saying in a straight line, but the most straight as I can be. And if I cannot like fix those problems, I try and go around them, find another solution to avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I focus on the good things, like the those who do good things. It's in those people I'm going to focus, and on the good things that happen around the streaming world. So it's a tough question because sometimes you try. There's some things you cannot avoid. Unfortunately, you cannot avoid because uh, as humans, we are a complicated species. So even though sometimes we try to avoid problems, in a way or another, we're going to go through towards them because there's something that will going to drag us towards the problems. Like think it as yourself as a solution for that problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's put it this way. This is an example. Why did like there was the World War One and the World War II. Why that happened? It's because countries were not they were like clashing against each other. Someone says that's mine, and that's how the war started. That's how I see things. And right now, that's the same thing that is happening with, I would say, with Kick and probably with streaming in general. Like, we are countries that, like, we are trying to have like it's tough. It's tough. Like, see, the way I'm trying to see things, it's everyone wants a part of it. Everyone wants to be a part of this thing, and sometimes it's difficult to like to avoid problems that comes with it's like a job. It's like a normal job. You know, you have like you have tasks to do in your job. Sometimes there's going to be problems within those tasks, and unfortunately you cannot avoid them. Either you are going to accept those problems and like trying to figure out how you cannot you can how you can like go around them, and like, I'm not going to fix this problem now, but I will think of a way of fixing that problem in a future, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of the job. Problems will always going to be there. It's like I said, it's a yin and yang. It's a balance. We need that balance because
Mm-hmm.
see it this way: if everything was good, there wasn't so much fun about it because everyone was nice, everyone was like giving kisses at each other, etc. So you see, it's part of it. It's so some people are going to like give those problems like a big like they are small problems, but for some people they are big problems. Everyone has like their point of view, so
Mm-hmm.
for me, I just go around them and that's it. It's the best way. Once you try to figure out how can you fix that, because some problems cannot be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they cannot. It is what it is.
I like how you bring up the aspect of like it's like a job. There's just gonna be problems. Um, Something that I've learned the last couple of years for me personally is learning to control what I can control and recognizing stuff that I cannot control that are issues. Because I have this tendency through just how I've always been, I just want to solve issues. Like I like whether I know how to or not, I just want to solve every issue as best as I can, right? And I had to come to a realization that like I can't control other people's actions. I can't control what they do, what they think of me, anything like that. But what I can do is focus on myself, control what I can control, and deal with my own issues before dealing with anybody else's. Uh, and that kind of goes back to this to streaming. Like I agree with you on the aspect of if everybody was nice, it'd be kind of boring. We would be just seeing la 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 las. Uh, I feel like they're like I think like the best way I view streaming is I view it like an international city, right? Like you can say like New York or Los Angeles or even like Tokyo or Hong Kong or whatever. Like a place where just many people of many different cultures just live, right? Like is somebody wrong for being different and having a different culture? Not really. Like we could have different of opinions of beliefs, but like it's learning to work together whether you agree with somebody or not or like somebody or not, because one of the big things that we talked about was Kick being a community or people saying the Kick community. For me personally, I hate that reference because when I think of community, I think of just a group. Like I think personally community is a group of people that you want to do stuff with or around or whatever, not so much like a living space or like a neighborhood or whatever you want to think about. So like when they say like, would you want this person in your community and I don't like them, like I'm probably not going to want to build a community with them because I know I can't work with them. But at the same time, like I've been saying like the Kick world or the streaming world because like everybody like I don't agree with everybody in the world, obviously. If everybody agreed with each other in the world, this world would be a perfect place. We wouldn't have these conversations and discussions. We'd be probably like plateau stagnant almost. Uh, but it's needed because people with different opinions and different outlooks and different ideas are what help drive to many of these great conversations, these great ideas, meeting people around the world, and just, I don't know, just being different. I think there's nothing wrong with being different, but at the same time, it's like there has to be like a line of respect, like we've been talking about, and there has to be a line of just knowing what you can control, what you can't control. So like when it comes to like these issues for me, I like to focus on a little bit of my blessings. Like I like to focus on the people who have been there for me, the people who have, shown me support, or even just like good memories. But even so, I like when it comes to like my issues, I like to just try to focus on what I can control. And what I can control right now is either why is my mentality in this state, or what can I do to just kind of like get back on track, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a fine, it's like almost like like I said, like I think the word that's like I keep thinking of is like almost like an etiquette. Like an etiquette is like, to me, a set of like rules that may not be official, but like I think most people should just follow, like almost like not like a term of service, but like just like a general like guideline. But like everybody's etiquette could be different. Like there's some like basic things like, hey, don't go to someone else's chat and say you're streaming. Like that's blatant. Like that's don't do that. Or like, don't like go to someone else's like stream and just be an asshole or harass or whatever. Like I think there's like blatant stuff that's like pretty obvious that like I think everybody can agree on. But then there's like some very finite things about like how we've talked about earlier about like while you're streaming, if you have a down moment in a game, leaving an email for somebody that you're trying to support, right? Some people see it as offensive, some people see it as they don't really care. Um, but even just moving on kind of from that, I want to kind of like move on to just like streaming itself. Like it takes a lot mentally, emotionally, and almost physically sometimes to stream. Um, I know a lot of people who don't use face cams when they stream because they're worried about the judgment or looks or feelings that they might get about somebody else judging them. I know people who are VTubers because they don't like anything about themselves, but that once they can be somebody else, they have the sense of freedom to be comfortable in doing their own thing. And like with streaming and with content creation, it's so fluid. Like there's no one track path of how to stream or how to do X, Y, and Z. And for you, like I know we talked about how like you had your sub goal to get like a face cam or a photo of you and all that, and I was excited for that, man. I was trying to go for that too. So for you for streaming, right? What do you what helps you get into streaming mindset, and what kind of like advice would you give people that may have hard times trying to even go live?
Well, going to the part of the face thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me personally, I do not feel comfortable around cameras because it's just something from a little boy. I just don't like them. And like I said, I said like once I hit that goal, I'm going to do like a face picture. It will going to happen, but I want to do that in a funny way,
Mm-hmm.
like something funny. I just unfortunately I did not have the time so far,
Mm-hmm.
but that will happen. And like streaming, what is streaming for some people? Some people it is a job. For some people is a way to get money, for even to pay their rent, to pay their bills, etc. And for me, the advice I give you, or I give all those who are starting right now, it's you should try to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And even though some streamers create like a persona when they are streaming, and we can all agree that some people are not the same person when they are streaming and when they are on the real world. And I view streaming as like an escape for the real world problems, and you should enjoy. you should be yourself at all times, and forget about the viewer count. That's something
Mm-hmm.
people should forget about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like always looking at your viewer count and seeing like, oh, I only have three people watching, and like what like we know right now on Kick, you can have like 20 wait 10 30 people watching, but only one person talking,
Mm-hmm.
and that for some people can be good, for some people can be bad because there's no one talking with them. And you should always focus on the chat, because some people, when they go to your chat and talk with you, if you're not like respond right away, they're going to leave because they won't like have that contact, that connection with the streamer. And for me, you just have to stay true to yourself, be yourself, enjoy what you are doing. And even though you can all agree that with Kick right now having the 95.5, and it's something amazing because you can do something, enjoy doing it, and getting some money with it. Even though some people will say, I'm not streaming for money, that will be a lie in the sense that even
Mm-hmm.
though you can have a bit of money doing what you like playing games,
Mm-hmm.
and I can agree that some people don't do it for that. If you don't do that just for the money, there's no point having a sub button, if you know what I mean. Like,
No, I agree.
everyone right now is doing that for the money, which is normal. It's acceptable. We should accept that everyone will do it their way. Some will only go for the subs. Some will only look at the sub count. Some will enjoy. For me personally, if someone sub, if someone gift, it will be appreciated. It's not necessary, but it will be appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So each one have their point of view. For me, you just have to enjoy. If you enjoy what you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
it is the most amazing feeling. But if you don't feel good at the time to stream, just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you like forcing yourself to do something you do not want, just because like you decide having a schedule, like I'm going to stream today, not tomorrow, the day after, etc., etc. You're gonna you have to, like, viewers want you to follow that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't follow the schedule, then you will be fucked. No one is going to come because, well, he's not going to follow his schedule, etc.
Mm-hmm.
You just, when you feel good about streaming, you should stream. If you don't feel okay to do so, don't force yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's something people should avoid. I see some people that stream every day and they say, I'm grinding. No, you're not. I'm just going to say like this. No, just because you stream every day, you're not grinding. You are like forcing yourself into something, and that will make you have a mindset that you should stream every freaking day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your life is around streaming, and that's it.
Yeah, and even to piggyback off what you said, I always preach to people like either have a set schedule or make days off for yourself. Like streaming every day may seem like fun and you may enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with that part of it, but it is not only is it going to be exhausting for you, but it's going to be exhausting for when you actually do get burnt out and you, let's say you take like a week off, right? Because you're trying to recharge or whatever, and then you don't see the same interactions because you took a week off because people thought you streamed every day. Like, yeah, people are going to understand on a human aspect if you take off and you're like, hey guys, I'm taking a week off, I just need a vacation or whatever. Like, the people who support you genuinely are going to come back eventually, right? But streaming every day, not only is it not healthy in my opinion, but it's setting you up for failure. Like you can do it if you're doing a subathon or whatever, or if you're just enjoying the grind, enjoy the grind. I'm not going to stop you from enjoying the grind, but don't make it a lifestyle. Don't make it an everyday thing. Like not like just like how streamers are not going to be there for you every day, you shouldn't be there on your stream every day. You should be taking time for yourself personally. You should be doing stuff off stream. You should be taking days off to where you can just rest, relax, recoup, and do what you need to do, whether it's house chores, whether it's being a supporter and you want to go support other people's streams, whether it's video editing or whatever. It could even be just laying on the couch watching TV and just, eating popcorn. I don't care what you do on your day off, but you need mental breaks. Like streaming every day to almost twice a day, that's exhausting. That is nuts. Like some of the biggest streamers I know in the world don't even stream every day. They take their weekends off or whatever and they make it like a 9 to 5 kind of thing. And I I don't want to be the person that stops somebody from enjoying their grind of streaming, but I also want people to be under the same impression that like this is like a job. It's because you're making money. Like if you're like you need to take breaks, you need to take time off. Like I don't work every day, and if I worked every day, I'd be miserable. Like and people and I've discussion with people and like, well, if this is a passion, and I enjoy passion. Like you can enjoy your passion. But you can take days off of your passion too to do things, around the house, take care of your family, take care of what your pet goldfish, go grocery shopping, do laundry, whatever. You can do a million different things and take a day off and take care of yourself. Like, trust me, I like streaming as much as the next person, but like there needs to be a healthy line of setting a schedule, taking breaks, taking days off, and just doing you. Like it mind boggles me that some of these people can not only stream every day, but some people stream twice a day every day. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie, like just even being on camera exhausts me, let alone doing almost 4 to 8 hours plus a day of streaming on multiple streams. Like it's exhausting. I can't imagine how people are gonna just get burnt out and not want to do it later on because they do it every single day of their lives and they get burnt out and they're like, well, I have to stream every day, I have to do this. Because like when I was talking to Versailles in our third interview, she was like, oh, I started streaming on Kick, I started streaming on Twitch, I started doing TikToks, I started doing shorts and Instagram reels. And I'm like, didn't you just start back in March? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, who told you to do all this? And she just looks at the camera and she's like, nobody really told me. I just saw on Twitter. I was like, no. Step one. Let's go back to step one. Why do you want to stream? Because it's fun. All right, cool. Like take baby steps into all these things. Like I appreciate people who want their grinds and want to grow for their goals, but grinding and killing yourself, there's a fine line, and too much grinding is going to lead to burnout and killing yourself in the long run. And you can always take time to grow. Like I'm not saying you can't make your TikToks and YouTubes or your shorts or Instagram reels or whatever, but there's a fine line of doing what you love and making appropriate time for it, and spending way too much time trying to overdo yourself in the very beginning, let alone someone like us who have been doing it for years at this point. And like when you're ready to grow and you made time and made a schedule and all that things, yeah, grow and go wild for it. But like there's plenty of times to just enjoy the moments and just love streaming and being a part of it while also loving life and being a part of life if you want to be a part of life. For me, I like hiding in my house and just watching TV and just avoiding people, but that's just me.
Okay.
But
I get you. There's like a spectrum. Like people think that once you start streaming, you should always be on all those platforms at the same time, because the big streamers will say to you, do this, do that, and people will going to follow, because even though that worked for them, that doesn't mean that's going to work for everybody.
Mhm.
It's like, I would say, it's, you can try, you can try doing that, but like you said, it's going to be uh, y- it's going to be tough being every single day doing shorts, doing Instagram reels, doing being streaming 8 hours a day. It's you can it's something like it's some people work like 8 hours, 9 hours shift a day, and they come home, they going to stream like 4 or 5 hours, and in the end you are like in that that like you're just going around work, like you sleep, you work, you come home, you eat, you stream, you go to bed, and you always going to do that. It's something that's it can be fun for some people, but like you said, if you don't like take some days off, just going to like be exhausted
Mm-hmm.
all the time, and you want to like bring a content to people, and there's going to be a time when you cannot do it, because like you said, big streamers do not do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in the beginning when they were like small streamers, and for them it was probably easier, because like Twitch was called Justin TV in the beginning,
Yep.
before being bought by Amazon. So those big streamers we know now, they started like us,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a mindset that like they had to do. I don't know if at the time there was already Instagram, but who cares? There was probably YouTube, for example.
Mm-hmm.
There was people doing YouTube videos, doing tweets, doing this, doing that all the freaking time. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a time once they were big, they stopped doing that because it takes too much time.
Mm-hmm.
And some people start to like having someone to do that for themselves, having like a person just to edit their videos, a person just to like doing their tweets, like to manage all those things, because they cannot do it. Not saying people cannot do it right now,
Mm-hmm.
but once you start that, and there's going to be a time when people, once you stop doing those things like in a daily basis, people are going to ask, why did you stop?
Mm-hmm.
Where are my videos? Where are this? Where are that? Where's your content? So people will going to force you to do that thing every freaking day.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not like have a line like, okay, today I'm going to stream, but tomorrow I'm going to take the day off for
Mm-hmm.
myself because I have
Exactly.
things to do. But if you only focus on streaming, 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 there's going to be a time once you stop streaming, people are going to ask, people are going to stop following you because you do not have that like content every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, people do whatever they want. It's just how I see things. If you force yourself to do that every single day, and there's going to be a time you will not have fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a job, for example. You are excited in the first months,
Mm-hmm.
but with time, you're going to ask yourself, why did
I'm
I leave the bed? Why do I have to
yeah.
work? You know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
it's exactly like that. Like there's some glam and glitter to when you first start and you're first getting going, or you have this kind of like motivation burst, but then you're building these kind of like false expectations on yourself for your viewers. Like YouTube was a great example, and I'm glad you brought that up because like one of my favorite YouTubers, Markiplier, when I was going through a lot of my depression episodes and going through a lot of hard times, I would watch his videos because he would post 2 videos a day, and like that was just like nuts to me. Like how do you have time to do that? Like he paid editors and all that, and then when this when the adpocalypse hit and they weren't getting as many ads or whatever, like he took a step back and people were like, where are my videos? Where's this? Where's that? And he had to come out and be like I was like, sorry, I tell people all the time I'm only going to do one, and if I do two, you know, that's a bonus thing. But you know, people were expecting two. They're expecting 2 different things of content a day, and it became such a normality for them that when he stepped back, like he had to like make a separate video just saying like, listen, like it's not that I don't like making content, and it's not like X, Y, and Z. I'm just going through hard times in my life and I'm doing, what I need to do. I'm taking steps back. And it's the same thing when it goes to streaming. It's like streaming can be fun. If you like streaming, I'm not gonna say you like don't like streaming, but be prepared that like if you take some time off because you're burnt out, you didn't set up that schedule for yourself, people are gonna be expecting you to be there every day. And when you're not, some people who are very like decently understanding will be like, oh yeah, you have life that happens, or hey, you had family that come in, or hey, X, Y, and Z. But not everybody's gonna be like that, and that's the hard part. Like especially even like being entertainment, like if you do something every day, people are gonna expect you to do it every day unless you post that you have a schedule. And it's just I'm afraid more people are gonna be more into burnout and doing like these like 3 4 week grinds of like streaming every day, and then when they actually get to a point where they actually like burnout and they take time off, and when they come back they're just going to be in a bad mindset because they're not going to see the same success or the same kind of like outcome, I should say, as they did before. Now, people who've been streaming a lot longer can actually build like up a tolerance, I guess, of like, taking time, like doing like 3 weeks in a row, taking a week off and then coming back or whatever, and not worrying about the numbers, the views, and all that. But not everybody's like that, though. Not everybody's like avoiding looking at numbers. Like a lot of people look at those numbers as kind of like their signs of like growth and like encouragement. And when they have one bad day, because let's say they average 3 viewers because they took a week off or they're doing a late night stream or whatever, that destroys their mentalities. And that's just it sucks to see, but like that's where I like to tell people like don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about X, Y, and Z. Worry about just being you, being genuine, and doing what you love. Like building a schedule is just healthy for you. It's not like I know we're here to entertain people, but like I don't see baseball players playing every single day of their lives. I don't see athletes playing a game every single day of their lives. I don't see fucking, you know, what's about it? I don't see musicians going on tour every single day of their lives. I don't see, actors doing a movie every single day of their lives. So why do we expect ourselves as streamers to be there every single day of our lives? Like if we built that as part of our lifestyle or as like if that's our job, that's one thing. But 99% of these people who are on here, this is a passion or what I like to call a secondary job, and they're doing this out of enjoyment but also to make money and get support and do whatever. And there needs to be just a fine line between doing this for fun and just grinding as much as you can because you're enjoying the process, but also taking time to take time for yourself, be healthy, make up a schedule, and just set yourself up for success so that way you're not burning yourself out and then getting even more burnout when you come back into streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Like you said, and I agree with that. When like actors and actresses, they shoot a movie like they are like in the set for 1 month, maybe 1 month and a half, and the whole year they enjoy that, like going on vacation, like doing other things. They're going to focus on for that month and a half on that thing, and then they are going to stop for a little bit because movies how they work when they go big, and that person going to in like a big amount of money, so they don't force themselves. There's some actors who just force, like for example, doing like 3 4 movies a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like a company, I guess it's an Australian company. There's those TV movies. They're not cinema movies, but TV movies where they do like 5 movies a year, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a time when you're going to see that person in another movie, they're going to be changed, like they are like tired, you see them tired. Like it's the same thing on streaming. And I understand people who want to do that, this every day, and stream every day, probably because it's their only way to earn some money. And I'm not going to judge if those people do not want to work. Everyone has their problems and how they see things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you force yourself to stream every freaking day, uh, it's going to take a toll on you. It's going to be like there's a little bit of yourself that's going to fade away each day. and there is going to be a time you are not the same person you were in the beginning. And there's a lot of streamers, unfortunately, they were nice and all, but streaming every day changed them a lot, and they only like decided to stop when things were already too hard to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a streamer, I don't know his name, but he suicide himself,
Mm-hmm.
uh, probably because he was on a bad mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and people only thought of him because he streamed all days, every day, and the day he unfortunately disappeared, some people start to realize that we are here for an amount of time and we should enjoy every single minute. But if we like force ourselves to do something that's going to like take some of us, some part of us, like it's going to be bad for us. Like um, it's like a job. For example, you only live for the job
Mm-hmm.
every day. Job, 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 job. You go this way, home, job, home, job, like this. When you are old, older, like you are in the 70s, I would say 60s, 70s,
Mm-hmm.
you are tired. You are tired because you did not enjoy the moments you had because you only thought about doing that job.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same thing for me. It's the same thing as streaming. People should take some time just to enjoy themselves, to like step aside a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's. But then again, everyone do whatever they want, but they should take care of themselves. Because if you don't take care of yourself, no one is going to do that for you.
No, you're right. And like kind of like how we just been talking for like the last little bit about this is like it's all about taking care of yourself, right? Like there's always going to be a time to make content. There's always going to be a time to do whatever. Um, and I feel like a lot of people get in these grinds because like there's like an opportunity or whatever, and they don't want to lose out on the opportunity. But opportunities come and go. Like they act like this is like the only opportunity that's ever going to be there ever, and they miss out on doing things in life. Like some of the things that I regret was that when I was getting into streaming on Twitch and all that, and I would spend more time streaming than I would be hanging out with people or whatever. Um, and like last year and this year, I kind of took it as like an initiative for me to spend more time with people as best I can, to do more things as best I can, to enjoy life as best I can, right? Um, and like, there's nothing wrong with enjoying life and enjoying it by streaming, but at the same time, there's some more life to just streaming. Like there's obviously there's nature, there's entertainment, there's family, there's friends, there's whatever. And I was so focused on making content and growing and grinding and all that that I just kind of lost track of what all is even happening. Like I missed out on hanging with friends. I got to a point where I was more focused on playing games and for the content than just playing them because I enjoy the games. Like there were days where like I would be like, oh man, I really want to play this game, but I'm playing this game on stream right now, and I don't want to play it off a stream because I'm already kind of going on a grind, and then I just don't play the game at all, and I kind of just like lose track of it, right? And like I have to get games just for me off stream personally because like if I'm in the middle of something, I want to finish it all the way through. So like whether it's like for right now it's like Pokemon. Like I'm doing Pokemon right now on stream and like I could easily play it offline and have fun with it or I could just do a different save file or whatever and kind of grind two things at once. Um, but like anytime I want to play on like the main like my main file or whatever, I don't want to do it unless I'm streaming because I've already been doing it for streaming instead of like just doing it offline and here and there. Like there's some games that you can do easily without having to worry about. the content, like Warzone, multiplayer, whatever, Call of Duty, or any kind of like shooter games. Like WoW is another good one. Any are like role playing game. But at the same time, like I have to take times to just have stuff off a stream, so where I don't have to rely on being an entertainment. I can just enjoy games that I enjoy and keep enjoying the passion of gaming. Because at one point I kept streaming so much that I just didn't even want to game anymore. I literally got sick of gaming for like 3 weeks. I didn't touch a game for 3 weeks. I didn't even really stream for those 3 weeks. Like I tried doing just chatting streams, it really didn't work. I tried to force myself to play games, it really didn't work. But because I kept trying to like make gaming all about content creation instead of making content creation around my joy of gaming and doing all that kind of stuff like that. So like if I could impose any kind of wisdom onto people, is that like it's okay to do things for like your stream and all that. Like if you're playing a game for stream, it's fine to do that, but make sure you have games that you enjoy and that you love to do off stream. Make sure you make time with your friends off stream. Like just because somebody's streaming and they ask you to play doesn't mean you have to stream as well if you play with them. I like playing games with my friends. And like if I could stream that, that's fine. If I don't want to stream, I don't have to stream. But I just like I like last week it was a great example. Like last weekend I messaged some of my close friends like Playtown, Waffle, C3, and my buddy Ben, and I messaged him. I was like, "Hey guys, can we just do something on Saturday, just like us, like no stream, nothing like that. Like I just want to get to a Discord call, play some fucking games with each other, and just have some fun. I feel like we've all been just so super on this kick grind. I just kind of want to have some fun with my friends as friends off stream." And we did. Like we made time. We all hung out. We played some Jackbox games and all that. And I just said, like, look, just give me like an hour, give me like 2 hours. I just want to enjoy some time with you guys. And after those 2 hours, like, listen, if you want to keep playing, if we want to keep playing, and you want to stream this, that's fine. If you want to do X, Y, and Z, you can do that. That's fine. I just wanted to make some time with my friends because I feel like we're always grinding that we don't take the time to enjoy what we have around us. And that's such a hard thing to like come to terms with, is just like realizing when grinding is becoming too much and you're kind of missing out on like just basic things like relationships, connections, just taking care of yourself. It's such a wild thing to think about. Like even with working, like during the holiday season, like for like when like there's a lot of shopping, like during like Christmas time and all that, like I'll pick up extra hours and I almost work like 60 hours a week just at my job just to get more money, because there's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm going to be paying for these bills. I'll have some extra money saved up and all that. But did I miss out on just resting? I missed out on just playing games because those were my enjoyments, those were my escape. And there's like a sacrifice that comes to it. And I think that's the main thing that like I'm trying to get across, is that like streaming has sacrifices. And I don't think a lot of people start realizing that until it become too late. And I hate to be like, I hate to sound like that older brother kind of like thing, like don't do what I do, like do better, like don't do monkey see, just do you, enjoy the process, hang out with your friends and shit like that. But at the same time I'm like, hey, I fucked up and I missed a lot of great opportunities with friends outside of streaming, and I missed out on like life events and doing shit like that because I was so focused on grinding and streaming. And look where it's got me. I'm now on a new platform, kind of doing the same thing, but I'm trying to do better about it by either being a little bit more consistent or just enjoying the process and then building a schedule after I finish my passion projects and all that. But I have I have like this parental protection where it's like, I don't know if you've ever like had this like conversation with any of your like with your parent. But like, have you ever like watched like your mother or your dad cook and then like it's the stove's hot, they're like looking at you like, hey, don't touch the fucking stove, and you touch the fucking stove or whatever. I touched it twice because I'm an idiot, but it's kind of like one of those things like, hey, take a fucking break, like take a day off and just do the fuck whatever, just don't be on stream. And they're like, but I'm enjoying the grind, this and that, like, and you're like you're sitting over here like an upset parent. You're like, listen, I get you're having fun. You can still have fun later on. Like no one's stopping you from the fun part, but doing it too much, you're not going to have fun anymore. And then you're going to get to a point where you don't know what you want to do, or you're going to get burnt out. And I think there needs to be a fine line of scheduling and breaks and taking time for yourself and whatever you want to do, and still being a content creator and streamer. I think there's just a lot that a lot of people go through, and like you said, I don't want to miss out on life, and I've missed out on a lot of parts of life. And if that, like I said, if there's anything I could do with that, I would just love for more people to understand that scheduling is important, taking breaks is important, but enjoying life is important. Like I think one of my favorite things about streaming in general was my best friend Playtown I met through streaming. I met her. She was one of the first ever people that followed me on Twitch. We were both playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the time. I got to meet her, her husband, her roommates. I've been to her houses because she's moved now. But like that was been a lifelong friendship. But like value that friendship so much. I want to make time not on stream, but also off stream with her. Like I want to mess her, see if she's okay, send her stupid fucking memes, or even just play games and just have fun or whatever, whether I'm streaming or not. And I think there needs to be a fine understanding of just taking care of yourself, because like the chatters, the viewers, whatever, they're gonna be ruthless with you once you're gone. Like you're,
Exactly.
it's it's not like like a, what's the best way of saying it? It's not like a small hill was like you take a break off and you're done, or that way because that's the camera. It's not like you go up a little and if you take a week off you're only going down a little. It's like a waterfall. You're gonna keep going up, 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 and then once you stop, it's gonna be like a dead drop almost, and then you have to kind of like work yourself back up.
And it is the reality, and I would say like this. Sometimes we tend to say to other people what we want for ourselves, and there is a time we tend to forget about ourselves, what we should be really doing. See streaming as like the movie Matrix. You have the blue pill and the red pill. And streaming for some people it's like a way to escape the real world like Matrix is. And there comes to a point when you can't like distinguish what's real one and what's not, because you grinded so much to be there. And there will be a time once you're not streaming, you're going to be like either like stressed, or because you want to stream, you want to be there every day, and you forget about the real life, what's
Mm-hmm.
behind streaming. And like you said, people should enjoy life outside streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had like a couple hours to enjoy with friends, playing something offline like you guys probably used to do when you were younger, and
Mm-hmm.
there was fun. But right now, unfortunately, people, once they start streaming, they always want to be streaming, 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 that they forget what's the real and what's not. And like the Matrix, there was a time when Neo forgot what was real and what's not, at least on the last Matrix. And it's the same thing with streaming. We are Neo. We entered like another world, and we forgot what's outside that world. And people are allowed to grind, but they should like make a line where, okay, now I will stream. When it's past this time, I will stop. I will enjoy everything that's outside streaming, like being with friends, family, playing with the dog, or whatever. Some people unfortunately cannot do that. They don't want to do it because they want to, like we'll say, grind. Because that's another word that's what's grind?
Yeah, what?
What can we call grind? Why grind? I would say like if you are working some in a job, you want to grind towards a new position, being like you like a low employee, and now you want to be the boss, so you have to grind, you have to work yourself to go up that like to get that achievement of being a boss. It's the same thing with streaming. People want to like grind every day because they want to be the best of the best. There's no such thing, because one day you are like enjoying streaming, the other day it's going to be just like a reflex. You're going to stream and there's no feeling, there's no like real feelings, like you are not enjoying streaming, like, you know what I mean? I'm just, people are just forcing themselves to do that because just it's their mindset. They want to be streaming, and that's it. That's no, there is no real enjoyment. It's just like forcing themselves. I want to stream today. I want to stream today because I want to have, I don't know, 10,000 subs. Calm
Mm-hmm.
down. Baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time, enjoy streaming when you are streaming, and take time to just enjoy the life. Because
Mm-hmm.
one day we are here, the next day probably we are not, and or some, there will be a day we're going to like regret not like taking the time for ourselves. Like, man, I should have done this and that,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's too late, you know. And I get people, it's a new platform, people want to like be at the top, but once you go too fast up, you're going to go two times faster down, because you are focused only on that, that you're going to forget the bad things that going to come with it, and you're just going to like realize it when it's too late, you know what I mean? It's like streaming should be about having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I get people see it as a job, and it is for some people who stream every fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not against that. Everyone
Yeah.
does whatever they want, but if you're not having fun, what's the point of doing it? You know?
True.
And if you only going to stream just because you want to like having an X amount of viewers, like I've seen this like in the beginning, because people tend to like being an affiliate and being a verified, that doesn't change a thing, because
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that comes with being a verified,
Mm-hmm.
because just a check mark, it's just a freaking check mark, and people are just, some people are just annoyed because I want to grind, I want to be verified. What's the point of being verified? What's going to big, because people once they hit the verified, and I noticed this, they are started like having 50 viewers, 70 viewers, and once they are verified, they go down to 10 viewers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the time you say, something is wrong, something is wrong. Why before being verified you had an X amount of viewers and right now you do not have?
Mm-hmm.
That's the fake support, I would say, because people are going to help you out, like to reach that verified, but once you are there, they're going to forget about you. It's just, you're like a chewing gum. Once you lose the flavor, you are in the trash, straight to the bin.
No, and that's a great analogy. I like that because I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, I think a lot of people are so easy to intent to help somebody out and support them to get to a goal, whether it's affiliate, whether it's verified, whether it's partner, whatever it may be. But most of them don't really build these connections with these streamers. So, like, once these streamers get to these places, a lot of the support goes away because, like, all right, we got him to his goal, back to what we're doing over here. And they're like, well, where's the support? Where's this? Where's that? Like, bro, we're happy you got to here, but like maybe we didn't build that connection. Maybe it was just like I wanted to help you see you get to where you want to go because somebody else said something or whatever. And something I wanted to like say on top of what we've been talking is that like I feel like a lot of streamers lose out on life because they make their new life all about streaming. So they miss out on everything around them in the world, whether it's friendships, relationships, growth at their other job or whatever, because they've put all their eggs in this one basket of just like streaming. And then they surround their whole life with streaming. Their whole social media is all about streaming, and XYZ is about streaming. When it's more than that, like there's just more to life than just streaming. There's more to life than entertainment. There's more to life to me than to you than to anybody else. And we miss
Exactly.
and we miss out on these opportunities, and we miss out on looking at a bigger picture because we're seeing personal growth and success in an area, and we want to keep going because either it's fun or we're making leeway into some kind of thing. But it's dangerous, and I'm afraid that most people are losing out on life because they're making streaming their life. Now, I'm not saying you can't make streaming a big part of your life. I'm not saying you can't enjoy streaming like we've been talking about, but like when streaming is the only thing that you're worried about, like you definitely lost picture on every aspect of life. I'm not gonna lie. Like even with TikTokers, YouTubers, OnlyFans content creators, anybody in any kind of industry, once you make that industry or that profession or that hobby everything about you and there's nothing else about you, you lose the aspect of life, in my opinion. And
It is true. It is something people tend to forget. And I was, I'm going to put myself in the same boat because
mhm,
when Kick started, and I was too damn focused on Twitter all the time, Kick all the time, and there was a time like I thought to myself, "What the fuck am I doing?" Uh, I'm, I was too damn focused on doing some stuff that I forget that like there was a real life outside of it, and I was too focused. I want to grind to get there, and there was a time I realized, wait a minute, I gotta step back a little bit and take baby steps. And if anything good must happen, it will happen. I just don't need to force it.
mhm,
I just gotta let it flow. And but there was a time I was too damn focused on it, on streaming, on being on Twitter all day, that I forgot there was a real life
mhm.
outside of it.
I've thrown myself in that same boat. I did the exact same thing. I was all over Twitter. I was all over streaming, whether it was Kick or Twitch. Like, and like the important thing I want to bring out of this is that if you do this, don't beat yourself up about it, right? Beating yourself up about it is not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to make you feel worse for what's going on, right? If you get too caught up into streaming, like there's no point in beating yourself up because like you're just going to make yourself worse and you're not going to want to do anything and then you're going to get stuck where you're at. Like we all make mistakes. Or I would even say that make mistakes. We all get caught up into stuff, right? Whether it's Twitter, whether it's streaming, whether it's the follower goal, the grind, whatever you want to call it. But we shouldn't beat ourselves up about it as much because like yeah, okay, yeah, I spent too much time on Twitter. I spent too much time focusing on this and I forgot what real life was like. I should be just focusing on just trying to work around real life and what's going on with streaming. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that like we talk about having a real life, right? And then we're like, oh, even for ourselves, we get so caught up into these things. Like I know for myself, I am my own worst critic. I will beat myself up to the day is done, and won't stop until I'm at my utmost lowest, because I know myself and I know I can do better. But instead of giving myself that kind of like grace of understanding, like these happen because of the excitement of what's going on, or you're enjoying the process, or or whatever, or it's this current thing that's giving you kind of like attention. Like I know for me, I beat myself up, like I said, to the day is done and then some, and then I don't want to even stream anymore. I don't want to be on Twitter anymore. I don't want to do anything anymore. And then I just feel guilty about enjoying something at that moment. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that like it's okay to enjoy the process. It's okay to get kind of like caught up a little bit, but like don't kill yourself for like just getting so caught up. Like I think that's the big thing is that getting caught up is not the issue. The issue is what we do after finding out that we've gotten too caught up into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, I spent too much time on Twitter. I spent too much time streaming. What should I do? Okay, what do I need to do? Well, okay, well I got stuff around the house to do. All right, we'll start doing stuff around the house. All right, well I gotta eat something or just maybe I want to read a book. Like, all right, we'll start reading that book. Like it's not so much about like, oh, you spent too much time, go do something else. It's like, hey, I caught myself doing some I caught myself just on Twitter too much. I caught myself doing too much streaming. I kind of lost focus on, the outside world. I'm gonna do stuff on the outside world. I'm gonna go watch a movie. I'm gonna go do some shopping. I'm gonna go just on a fucking walk. Like Delphi got me onto doing something that I haven't even talked about to people. I've been doing daily walks since our interview, and I don't tell people. I just spend 15 minutes a day early in the morning and I go for a walk. So like lately what I've been doing is that like for me, and this is like the worst thing to possibly do. I'm going to redo my schedule for it, but like I've been staying up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then at like 4 in the morning right before I go to bed, I go for like a 10-15 minute walk just around the neighborhood. Enjoy the silence, the cool breeze, and just enjoy being outside and just kind of like and figure out like not figure out like what's on my mind, but like just kind of like figure myself out and get my heart into like a better place, you know? And now it's been like 2 weeks, and like there are some days where I don't want to walk and I don't do it, and I'll go walk on a different day. But like even just taking the small time to just walk a little bit, doing something outside of just like gaming, streaming, being away from the computer kind of thing, it's given me like a refreshing kind of attitude about it, right? And I'm not saying walking is everybody's shtick, right? I'm not saying you know being away from the computer is everybody's thing they should do. But what I do think is that everybody should take the time to do something just for themselves away from everybody else, whether they talk about it or not. Like I don't like talking about the things like I kind of have one of these mentalities where it's like you can do things and not have to tell anybody and or have to share on the internet. Like if you want to share something, you're more than welcome to. But like if I read a book and I really like it and I want to share about it, that's one thing. But I don't have to tell everybody I'm reading a book, or I don't have to tell everybody I'm playing a certain game, or I'm going for walks, or I'm eating healthier, or whatever, or trying to do things. Because I feel like most importantly, I'm doing these things for me, and I need to keep that focus on me and not what other people think of me when I'm doing these things and trying to take back my life in that sense. Um, but no, I think that like I think a lot of people beat themselves up a lot about these small things. And I think like just like how you're talking and how we're talking, like we just want the best for people, and we want people just to be respectful and just love life and love everything else that includes in life outside of the streaming world.
Exactly, and unfortunately, like you said, people beat themselves too much because either they don't have much viewers and they don't know what's really happening, and they forget about the real life. And like you are doing, like you stay up like till 4 a.m. You're going for a walk, trying to like set your mind free for a little bit, trying to like, how can I do this? Having fresh air, just enjoying a little bit outside, far away from the computer and all that stuff, and just enjoying. Like there's a phrase, there's something from a movie, and probably you might know. I'm going to just read it. It's a movie with Rocky Balboa, and there
Okay.
was there's like a quote, something that like stick with me because. I'm just going to read it. It's not a long one, but
No, go.
probably you're going to understand. It says like this: "Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and we'll beat it to your knees and keep you permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit you as life." So people like see the streaming as their life,
Mm-hmm.
and they forget about the real life. So sometimes they do not understand why things are not working out, and instead of stepping out, just like they force themselves a little bit more each day, and comes to a time that they no longer can see the difference,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little bit too late to go back. Like it's not like we are on Back to the Future, it's not like we are living a movie. It's if we should be aware, and I'm saying this against myself because um, there was a time I focused too much on stuff, and I did not realize until it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we can like explain to people, do this, do that, and that's their job to like say, okay, I will accept that what you're saying, I will try to do better. And some people are going to say to you like, fuck off, Let me
Mm-hmm.
do my thing. Just fuck off.
Yep.
Like we try we I cannot say myself set myself as an example for people because I do things, and in the beginning I was every freaking day on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and right now I decided like, okay, I'm going to step out a little bit. I'm going to keep doing my shout outs, keep like trying to help people, but there's some stuff I'm going to avoid,
Mm-hmm.
like retweeting everything and like liking everything. I'm going to like be a little bit more reasonable when I do things.
Mm-hmm.
My shout outs, I will do it when I can, because like you said, there's something outside streaming, and I got to focus on that. And in the beginning, I everything I did, I wrote it on Twitter, and that was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Like I should like stick to something and keep personal life outside of Twitter, or I would say outside streaming. What is
Mm-hmm.
personal stays personal, and we cannot mix everything. And some people mix it up, like their life, their real life, they mix with streaming, and that comes to a point they cannot they cannot longer see like the difference between them,
Mm-hmm.
and all they want is stream, 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 stream. I get some people like right now it's a new thing and it's probably their time to shine, but they forget about what's supposed to be good for them, and there will probably be a time they are going to regret some things, and they are going to regret why the fuck I streamed every day, and now uh, when I go to touch grass I do not enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you are focused on being in front of the computer every single day, all the time. When you go outside, you are you are afraid to go outside. You want to go back inside and stay in front of the computer because it's the place you feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it's going to be too late because they are too damn focused on that. They want that, and that. And for me, like I said, I enjoy streaming, but I will set like a boundary to myself. Like when I feel in a good mood to stream, I will stream. If I don't have a good mood to like streaming, I'll say, okay, let's leave it to uh, another day. I'm going for now. I'm going to focus on real life, and if feel like I need to stream like because I want to, I will. If I don't feel like I want to stream, I don't. And people should understand that. Some people unfortunately cannot understand that when you are like a
Mm-hmm.
big streamer because you
Yeah.
stream every freaking day, and like they are simping. People simp because oh you are my. That's something that annoys me because everyone it's their favorite streamer. Oh, you are my favorite streamer. Oh, you too, you're my favorite streamer. Come on, there's no need for that. If you enjoy someone, just enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are jealous. Let's be real. People are jealous
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's something we cannot avoid, and there are right now there's a lot of I would say big streamers. Not say big streamers because it's that's a big word to say. There are just streamers. For me, either you are verified affiliate, non-affiliate. For me, you are a human being. In the beginning, if you like see yourself, I'm affiliate, you are not, so I'm better than you. You are in the wrong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
For me, everyone is equal. I don't care if you have a check mark, a orange check mark, a green check mark. I don't care if you have the middle finger like pointing at me. I don't give a fuck. I just want like people to enjoy what they do, and for me, if I can help someone reach their goal, I will do so. I will help that person to reach their goal. I do not want something in return. It's not the way I am, and but I know people. Some people might think so, because I've been since I started on Kick for like I would say a month and a half,
Mm-hmm.
every fucking day, like doing shout outs, tweeting, retweeting, and people might see like, oh, this guy is doing this for clout, like. But if you like notice my tweets when I either give something away, or if I like receive like an X amount of subs, etc. I never say how much subs I got. I never say like if I gave something to someone. I do it because I want to. I do not need like to show myself like I did this, I did that. That's no point. If people enjoy what I do, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, it's normal, and I should accept it. It is
Absolutely.
what it is.
Absolutely. Like one of the things that like kind of like mind boggles me, like, is just like how people interact on like Twitter when it comes to streaming stuff like that. Like I remember somebody gifted me a sub, and I said on stream, I was like, "Hey, I really appreciate the sub. Thanks for supporting the channel, this and that." And I didn't tweet, my like how everybody else has been tweeting their success stories, and they're like, "Oh, why didn't you like tweet your end of stream success?" I'm like, "I don't really do that." And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "Just not who I am and not what I am about. Like, if I want to, I will, but if I don't have to." And they're like, "Well, you're not gonna shout me out for gifting subs?" I'm like, "Is that why you gifted subs? Like, are you gifting subs because you're supporting me, or are you gifting subs so you can get a shout out? Like, which one do you want? Because if you're giving shove for a shout out, like, get the fuck out. Like, I don't care. Like that."
If you do something expecting something in return,
Mm-hmm.
that's not something genuine. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
for like you are forcing something that you want. Like, I'm gonna give you like 10 subs,
Mm-hmm.
but I want you to like uh um
Tweet about it or whatever.
tweet about it, or like I'm a god and you are just a peasant and you gotta like kneel before me because I gifted 10 subs. It's
Mm-hmm.
I get some people. I understand like people showing their achievements. It's a normal behavior, but
Mm-hmm.
when you like do it every fucking day,
Mm-hmm.
you are just doing that just to show people you are better than everyone else, and there's no need for that. Because if you are reaching your achievements, it's I'm happy for you, because you're doing something probably that you like,
Mm-hmm.
and and you are enjoying. But if you are constantly showing, I gifted this, I received that, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Like to show some people, well, I can do it but you can't, and I'm better, you're not. And like it's a way of like doing that for the clout.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been something. It's a touchy subject, because when people like show their achievements, and you are not like you're going to respond to the tweet like, okay, I understand, I'm happy for you, but why do you do it? They are
Mm-hmm.
going to be mad because you ask that, because you are not like the same way they are. And for me, if you reach your goals, be happy for it. But
Mm-hmm.
there's no need of showing that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's people, unfortunately, who cannot reach their goal. There's people who probably grind much more than anyone else, and they do not get not even like the slightest support as
Mm-hmm.
they should.
Mm-hmm.
And people who doesn't do anything, they are supported everywhere. And like, I'm not attacking anyone in particular. I'm just saying like, be proud what you achieve, but there's no point of like stacking in the face of someone. I received this, I achieved that, and you suck.
No,
That's how I see things. Because
no,
come on,
I get what you're saying. Like it's one thing to post like when someone does something like really nice for you or an achievement or all that, but doing it every day, it loses the touch of making an achievement versus you just showing off. It almost comes like, but that kind of goes back to like the previous thing you mentioned about when you were tweeting about other people. Oh, excuse me, when you're tweeting about other people and just showing off their streams and all that, like you knew your heart was in a genuine place. You were trying to show them support and all that. And some people thought you were clout chasing for whatever reason. There was a moment where like when everybody was tweeting like every time they got off a stream or every time they got a gifted sub or a raid or whatever, I was seeing it and I was just like, this is beyond like mind numbing. Like this doesn't even feel like genuine anymore. And then I saw people that I knew were doing it and they were but they were being genuine with their like support. Like they're like, oh, thank you for this, thank you for that, and all that. But then I'm like, God, this is so cringe. Like, please don't do it. Like everybody else is doing it. Like this just doesn't seem genuine. But at the same time, it's like I know this person is genuine and I know they're trying to just be genuine about it. The same thing goes for you. Like when you're like shouting somebody out or retweeting their stuff or whatever, like I know you're doing it from a genuine place of heart. Like you're not like, hey, I'm retweeting you, so like go like my shit right now, or else I'm gonna take off the retweet. Like, no, you're doing it because you're trying to show support for somebody.
exactly, and that's the point of doing that. But unfortunately, some people might see it in another way, which is normal, and I can understand. Like,
But at that point, what's the point of posting anything if somebody's gonna see it in a different light?
exactly, and I do it not for myself. I do it because I want to. I'm not forced to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see, and that's another thing that like not that that annoys me, but it's just a little bit frustrating. Like seeing those tweets, and probably you have seen them too. Like people like copy and paste the same tweet. Like if I gifted you like 10 subs, how would you react? What's the point of doing that? Or like uh, those fake giveaways. Like, okay, I'm gonna give away like 10 subs. Please like, share, and retweet, because you're going to give like to some people, they know they are not going to win that, but there's that feeling of that. How can I say this? Like, you hope you are the lucky one. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like,
It's like a lottery.
exactly, and that's for me. It's like it's a fake thing. It's like you are doing that for the clout. You are
Mm-hmm.
expecting someone to like tweet, retweet, like follow you. That's something you should avoid. And I unfortunately I felt into those traps a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
because I thought to myself, why not? Why not give it a go? But in the end, you see those things, and then you see multiple tweets every single day, people repeating the same thing. I'm going to give this. I'm going to give that. And if I give that, please follow my Twitter. Please follow my account, etc. And for me, it's like you're trying like farming like followers, like in a way that should be like avoidable. Like you are forcing something that it's not real, like it's that is not a real connection with someone. It's like you are farming. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's impressive how people like see that as supporting someone, like giving away subs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're going to give something to someone, there's no need to brag about it. There's no need. There's just no point, and it feels fake.
It
I know
feels if like you're like the way you're trying to get at is, like, what I think you're trying to get at is that they're doing too much and then you can tell right through the bullshit right now. I talked about this with before on stream, and I've talked about before in the interviews, is that like when people post links like that, like I'm trying to rate off this many people, I'm like, what do you mean you're trying to? Kick has a search bar. Just search anything. You search a category, search a random word, do anything. You could literally do anything in that search bar. All right, what am I feeling? I don't know. Let's see if anybody's streaming like Apex. Oh, okay. We'll stream this person. Like, not rocket science, right? Like, what makes that different from anybody else on Twitter that you may or may not know? Like, I think you have a better, you can find somebody that you want to there on Twitter? Like, oh yeah, sure you can. But like, at the same time, like, you can just raid to raid or host to host or gift subs to gift subs. Like, I don't get the need to post about it on Twitter. Like, it's like Kick has a search bar. Twitter is just as Twitter randos seeing your thing are just as safe as the Kick search bar. But you know what the difference between the Kick search bar and the Twitter world is? You can at least go to the Kick person's channel, see that they're live or not, watch their content, and see if that's somebody you want to show off those people to. Or you just do it blindly and just trust the luck of whatever you have. Like, some people will be grateful, some people won't, and it will happen. Like, oh well. Like, that's just part of the thing. Like, the same thing with the gifting subs. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, I'm gifting subs. I'm like, just do it. Just do it.
Exactly.
Find a streamer. Find any streamer. Like, if you're gifting subs to give back to the community, it doesn't matter who you give it to because you're giving it back to Kick. Like, just do it. If I want to go raid, just do it. Like, it mind boggles me. It mind boggles me that people think this is like a genuine thing when you're just like, you can just do it behind, like, in silence, and you could just do it to do it. And that's why, like, I hold my tongue sometimes, because it's like, I see people do it. I'm just like, why don't you just go to the Kick search bar? Well, I want to raid to my community. Well, if Kick's your entire community, then why don't you just find anybody on Kick or go to your follow section? Oh, I'm trying to find somebody new. There's a search bar. What, they're not following you on Twitter? Like, just because they're not following you on Twitter or liking your engagement thing doesn't mean you can't just drop whatever raid you're going to or whatever. Like, I feel like big streamers who have like these, either the money, the views, or whatever, hold these and use these like farming tactics, and then like they do these like ungenuinistic things, and then when one of our friends wants to do it, or someone that we know that is genuine that wants to do it, we have this bad taste in our mouth about it, because we're like, oh, don't do that. Like, you can do better than that. Like, these dumbass jabronis over here are fucking doing it. Don't be like them. But they don't. But like, it's one of those things where I had to check myself, because, like I said, my friends were showing off their successes, and I'm happy for them. And if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But I shouldn't. I know, like, at the time, I was only like cringing about it because other people that I didn't like, that I know were doing it for like selfish gains and kind of shit like that, were doing it. And like, when I saw them do it, I'm like, people are just going to think this. Because if I think this, and knowing this too, people are going to think the same thing from you and think that you're like either being malicious, you're farming, or whatever. But then at the same time, I have to like kind of like stop myself. Like, well, I know this person's genuine. Like, I know you're genuine. Like, I know when you did all like your shout out tweets or your retweets or whatever, you weren't doing it for malicious intent. You were doing it to support people. And then unfortunately people were like, oh, you're trying to clout chase. And you're like at that point, my defense would be like, what do I have to gain? I'm just shouting them out. They have more to gain than I do. Like, exactly. So like, at the same time, it's like, I want, like, there's a conversation I had on Twitter with somebody today, and they were like, it was all about like how we talked about the putting the emotes in somebody's chat while you're streaming during like a downtime kind of thing. And they're like, well, this comes across as this. Like, okay, it doesn't matter what it comes across as. What was the genuine intent? And if you don't know the genuine intent, like, how can you make that deciding sermon about how it comes across? Like, if you put me in a boat, or me in that same situation, and somebody did that to me, I'm not gonna be mad that someone puts a fucking emote in my chat. They're probably streaming. And if I know they're streaming, I know it's not they're trying to steal views or anything. They're just putting an emote in to show that they're thinking about me. But this person was like, oh, they're trying to do X, Y, and Z or whatever, and then ban them. I'm like, it doesn't matter about, and like, I think there's like I think in certain situations, like, intent and the genuinity of the heart of the person do play a factor. But it's something like this where it's so blatant, like, I'm putting an emote in your chat and sorry I'm live while I'm doing it, but I'm also streaming. That's not a horrible fucking thing. It doesn't build connection, But at the same time, it also depends on the streamer and how, insecure, jealous, whatever they are about that kind of stuff at the time. Because like you said, everybody has those jealousies and insecurities. So if they're having a bad day in their stream and they see that easily could have been like that for whatever reason. But at the same time, like if you know someone's genuine and or if you know you're being genuine about stuff, like if it comes across the wrong way, I think it's just because people are just jealous and insecure and want to like call it up because they don't feel the same way, or they're being that kind of insecure, jealous person in their own life, and then they're like, "Well, you shouldn't be doing this because I don't like this." Just doesn't make sense to me personally.
Yeah, I know what you are talking about. I've seen
Yeah.
the tweets, and I understand like why people sometimes just like put like random like emotes and stuff. If you don't like that, the only thing banning someone for that, it's like a bit too harsh. It's just a bit excessive. But if you don't like that, just call them out and say, listen, uh, I rather you having a talk with me. It's like a real conversation. You know what I mean? And I understand people do that when they are streaming, which it's a normal behavior. And for me, uh, if people just come to chat and like, I understand if someone that has been the first time in my chat talked with me, and then afterwards they just post random emotes and stuff. For me
Hmm.
it's fine, but someone that does that on a regular basis and did not have like a real connection, did not for for a single time not talk with me, like asking how I am, like, it can feel like a bit like forgetting about what I'm like. um how can I say this, how can I put this a respectful way? And if you come to someone chat and for the first time and you just post a random emote, can be seen as like a lack of respect for that streamer, because some streamers just want you to, you can stop by and say hello, how are you, and that's it. Some people are just happy with it.
Hmm.
But the first contact you have with the streamer is just a random emote. It's like that person going to think like, come on, this guy doesn't give a fuck about myself. You know what I mean? Just
Hmm.
it's I can understand some points. I can understand why people get mad, and that's, for example, I have like fat, for example, in my chat, and that's something that should be avoided. And I understand if you go live, do never say on someone's chat, "I'm going to go live."
Hmm.
It's not something, it's not nice, it's can be seen as, for me, honestly I don't care, but for some people can be seen as a lack of respect. You know what I mean?
Hmm. No, I get it.
I-
Like I
if you
think
go
if
live,
yeah,
just do it, but don't go to someone's chat
and
and say it
say that you're going
constantly,
live, yeah.
because they're going to see like, okay, this guy doesn't care about me, fuck him, I'll go live and that's it. And just that there's a line between what's good and what's bad. For me, I just don't care, but for some people, they just don't going to enjoy that. And if you are banned for it, you will understand why.
Hmm.
It's just go live, don't say anyone. If you stop by someone's chat and like do a random emote, that's okay. But just avoid like saying you are live. That will make that person feel that is not important. It's like he doesn't care about you. You know what I mean? It's and it's like it's a touchy subject. It's something it's my point of view. Some people might not agree, which is normal. And we are, like you said, we are just entertainers. We are trying to entertain someone, and it's like we are fighting for the same job, like as streamers.
Yeah.
Like I see us as like minions. We are minions when we are fighting for the same boss, and you know what I mean. And I understand some people just it's the way they are. You know what I mean. And unfortunately, some people don't see it that way, and they can see that as a lack of respect. But it is what it is, and it's I would say it's the streaming world. It's
Yeah,
a
it's
complicated
a streaming world.
it's a complicated thing, you know. It's like play you are just like playing a Super Mario uh, platform game, and you are jumping around,
Mm,
and you know it's complicated, and some people don't understand. There's things, if you do the one thing I would say, if as a streamer, if you see someone doing something you don't like, just call him out right away. It's the best thing you can do. Do
mm-hmm.
not tweet about it. Do not ban them, because then you are going to, because probably you should, like, I know some people on their channels, they have like the about or the rules of of the channel. Some people do not say exactly what they want for their channel, what they should avoid, so people do it and do not understand why they are banned or why they are timed out, because
Mm-hmm.
they did not understand. If you don't explain them to them, they will not understand what happened. So
No, exactly. And like it's such a hard thing to like talk about because like I said, with content creation and just streaming and everything like that being so fluid, there's many different ways to go about stuff. Like there are people who don't even use chat. They're solely there for entertainment purposes. They don't even read chat. I know people who are all about their chat and they don't care about the gameplay at all. I know people who show their face, who don't show their face, VTubing, who have strict rules, who have very loose rules. It's all like it sucks because like it's all preference, and it's preference within like the terms of service and the tools that you're given, right? That's why I like to talk about like general streamer etiquette, because I feel like etiquette are just the general streamer etiquettes are just like basic understandings that you should be taking with you as a streamer and as a viewer, um, like the things we talked about like today, like hey, don't go to someone's fucking channel and say I'm lurking because I'm going live or I'm going live or whatever. That's like going into someone else's party and saying, hey, I'm about to go start my party. I sorry I can't be at your party, but you know I'll be at my party if you need me. It's disrespectful. Like, and there are some things that are disrespectful which I don't find disrespectful, and there's some things that I do find disrespectful that other people don't find disrespectful when it comes to streaming. Like for example, like if someone does a single emote, like or does an emote while they're streaming while they're live, like I get it, cool, on you, homie, but just remember that like just because I don't care doesn't mean that builds connection. I think that's my thing is that I take the time to make these understandings. Like I know not everybody's going to be there to support me. I know not everybody's going to be there to do X, Y, and Z. I'm grateful for those who do think about me or do leave a lurk or do come by or whatever. I'm very grateful for everything. And I think that's the thing is that like I keep trying to remind myself to be grateful for those who take the time to be here or do whatever they need to. Because I understand that like I've gotten like not harassment I should say, like people complained that I was never in their streams. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to do the best I can. Like you're sitting there at like 40 viewers. I don't think you need me one day versus somebody else that want to be there for on another day. But like at the same time, like I get what they're coming at is that like they take the time to put an emote in my chat. They think that's them showing support. How come I can't do the same while I'm doing my live stream? For example, like this one, I don't have time. I'm talking to you. I'm focusing on you and our conversations. But like if I'm playing a video game and I'm playing and the game lobbies go like super long or whatever, like Valorant, you know, I probably could. And maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's not what they want. And that's why like streaming and all that is such a difficult subject to talk about and such a like not a finite kind of like world. It's such like an open-ended world. Like as long as things are within the terms of service, most people would say like you do whatever you want, right? Whether it's selfish, whether it's not selfish, whether it's respectful, whether it's not respectful, as long as you don't break terms of service, most people like that's basically like the general world politics of streaming. But at the same time, like us, we're like, hey, let's show people with respect. Let's be, genuine to ourselves and to others. Let's just be respectful. Like it's simple things like that. Like you're not going to be there for everybody, so you don't say that you are going to be there for everybody. And I think everybody has the expectation that you are not going to be there for them every 24/7. As I would hope that you would understand that like people won't be there for you 24/7, like just basic kind of concepts. But again, we live in this world where everybody thinks they are the gods to this fucking streaming world that they are when they're literally just relevant in a small minute space, and they're really meaningless everywhere else. And or I should say meaningless, they're not as valued everywhere else, I should say that.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. And yeah, like you said, like if you take the time, like being at someone's stream, and you post an emote, for example, that person is mad, but when they come to your stream, they do the same thing, and you just gotta shut up and accept it because you cannot be mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I take my time, it's my time. It's something like a viewer is saying right now, it's a precious thing. My time of going to someone's stream and chatting with them, I do not expect the same thing to me. I do it because I want to. If people take their time to be in my streams, I'll be happy about it. I will like cherish that because people, that person itself took that time because time is a precious thing. I'm freaking happy, but people should not be forced and feel like I'm going to their streams. They got to go to my streams. No, it's not how it works. If you feel like probably if you see things like streams on the content side, when I go to someone's streams, it's not for the content, it's just for the streamer itself because I want to get to know the streamer. I want
Mm-hmm.
to talk to the streamer. It's my the basic thing I do. The content, it's something, as long as they are enjoying what they are doing, for me it's fine. They
Yeah.
can be playing like Fortnite, Valorant, COD. I don't care. It's for me. I don't care which game they are playing as long as they have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do that, when I go to someone's streams, I do not expect that person to come to my streams
Mm-hmm.
because if I'm expecting that, it means like it will not be a genuine thing. I want people to be genuine about it and come to my streams because they want to and they do not feel forced to. And like I will like when I say some things, it's not to be mean or
Mm-hmm.
to be like a selfish bastard. I just think people should be aware when they say some things while on someone's stream that can be harmful. People can see that in like trying to get their viewers to their channel and etc. And there's some lines you should never cross.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go to someone's stream, you enjoy the time. Like people, some people say enjoy the vibe. What is vibe? That's another thing. Uh, because most of the times you are like on the stream, you are seeing the stream, you are like seeing what they're playing, but you are not talking. So what vibe are you enjoying? Because I want the same thing. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
like you're like if I go to someone's streams, I want to talk with that person, and if I feel that like that person itself is enjoying what they are doing, you know what I mean? I'll be happy for them. So if people do things to have something in return,
Mm-hmm.
there's something wrong. For me, there's something wrong about it. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, when well, Kick, it started on October 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
And since it was a new platform, people saw that as an opportunity to like be the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, it's becoming a bit difficult to like be at the same spot as some streamers, because they already did what in the beginning they started early, so for them it was easier, and some people think it will be easier for everybody else. It is not. If some people, unfortunately, they going to stream because they want something in return. Because for
Yeah.
example, this is another thing which is funny, because if a big streamer says like this, if he says like this, give me your subs, sub to me, do this, do that, people will say, oh, you're a nice person, you give so much to the community. But if it's a small streamer, as they say,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to like call him out. They're going to say, you're doing this for the clout, you're just a nasty bastard, this and that, blah, 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 blah. Because people can't see the difference. You either are a big streamer or a small streamer. What is a small streamer? What is a big streamer? Because you have numbers. Sometimes the numbers do not correspond to the reality. Because some people have like 10,000 followers and on their streams there are only 20 people watching. For me, something is wrong.
Yeah.
For
I
it's just my point of view.
no.
Because
I'm in the same boat as you.
yeah, and if you if people see you are a big streamer, I am a small streamer. No, I am the same as you. The only difference is you are probably, I would say like this way, you are born for that. You
Mm-hmm.
are born to be streaming. You are like a natural talent, I would say. Probably it's a bit stupid to say this way, having born to do this. You're not like John
You're a
Wick.
prodigy
You know
of
what I mean?
streaming.
You know, it's just probably at the time you started streaming,
Mm-hmm.
you had like that slight opportunity, you took it, and you had that chance, and everything happened like in a natural way. And some people unfortunately force it, and for some it's just it comes out, it comes easier. Then that's the vibe thing. How I vibe with that person, I vibe with this person. Once again, what is vibe? What is vibing with someone?
Yeah.
If you are just vibing, it's fucking this kind of terms. Just, I don't know, just puts me out real quick, because I try to understand why people say that. If I'm vibing, and the most of the times you are not even talking, how the fuck are you are vibing? What kind of shit are you taking?
I bring the vibes. Plays Call of Duty and doesn't read chat for like 15 minutes. Total
You know,
vibe.
that's another thing. Some streamers are just focused on the game, and they forget about their viewers. For me, when I'm streaming, I don't give a fuck about the game. I like when I win. That's a reality. But if I see someone in my chat, I just want to talk with them. It's something
Mm-hmm.
like it's a natural behavior. But you are only focused, because let's be real, some people are only going to watch streamers because they have like good matches, like having 10 bomb 10 20 bomb kills, blah blah blah, they are the best, I'm the king of the movement, etc. uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's just like being like a show off, like you are showing like your qualities. And let's be real, some streamers are like they are not that good players. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some are just a little sus, I would say. But some people just focus on the content. I focus more on the viewers, because for me, content it's not important. Probably it will like make you what you are, in a way, like you are like a Valorant player. Well, probably the best Valorant player there is.
Mm-hmm.
People will going to watch you because you are the best Valorant player. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. No, I think there's a fine line between being good at a game and reading chat. Like, my perspective is this. if I'm streaming and I'm entertaining, depending on what game I play, I think the viewer should know that like if I'm in the middle of a game, I'm not gonna be like reading chat. I'm gonna be playing the game. Like if it's something simple, like if I'm playing Pokemon, I can read chat easily and play Pokemon at the same time. But Call of Duty adds like a little bit more of a like a what's the word I want to use? Like it involves more focus and attention to detail because you're actively doing something all the time in that game. Like if I'm hiding in a rock corner waiting for a zone to push, I can read chat, right? But at the same time, I want to read chat too. I want to talk to people in the chat. At the same time, I feel like chat should also have the understanding that like if I don't read your message, it's not because I don't care about you. I'm in the middle of playing a game. Why I'm here. But that's just me. I think there's a fine line between both, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Regardless, we talked about a lot of heavy shit today and a lot of like tough questions that like there's no like one true answer and there's no like open-ended like oh it could be this, it could be that, X, Y, and Z, because there's so many variables and there's so many different outcomes when it comes to talking about support, talking about how do we operate on Twitter, how do we talk about being genuine and just being you and taking time off and you know your streaming life and your streaming schedule. But I kind of want to like unwind it down. I got one stupid question I want to ask you. I always ask a stupid question to all the guests, and then I have one like end off kind of question. The stupid question is this. So I made a tweet on Monday saying, give me your worst food takes, or give me something that like you like to eat or like to do that, or don't like to eat or like to do that most people do, like an opposite kind of like attraction kind of thing, right? Like for me, I don't like sushi. I think sushi is overrated. I think it's disgusting. I don't like the texture. I think it's pretty bland most of the time, but that's just me. Shut up. Shut up. But for you, what would be one of those food takes for you? Like, is there a food that you like that nobody else really likes, or is there like something that you don't like that people like a lot?
Oh, uh, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of like seafood.
Seafood?
Yeah, it's something uh, even though I eat sushi,
Hmm.
seafood like crabs and stuff, I don't know, it's something that I just don't like the probably the taste or even seeing the I don't know. It's since I was a little kid,
Hmm.
everything that was about seafood, I just don't like it. I just avoid it.
Is it like all seafood, or is it like a certain things
Mm,
like crustaceans, crabs, or is it just like all of it?
certain things. Well, I can eat octopus,
Hmm.
like salmon and like some stuff I can, but some I just like for those people who like to eat the insides of a crab, all the
Hmm.
insides, like they mash everything in.
Hmm.
Just the visual when I see that, that's just not for me. Sorry, not for me. It probably doesn't taste bad, but just
Not
not
for
for me.
I think there is a like a mentality behind a lot of food takes and all that. Like I'm the same thing about like crabs. Like I don't mind eating shrimp as long as it's like breaded and I don't see its fucking head. I don't mind most fish because most time I'm eating like the fillets of the fish and not the whole fish. But for some reason with crabs, they like to send out the whole fucking crab. And I just got this dead crab with eyes just looking at me after it just got boiled, and I'm just like, bro, what'd they do to you? And then you have to like rip off the leg off the body, and you feel like I feel like I'm like eating a zombie at that point, and I can't eat crab. I probably would never try to eat crab too. Maybe once, who knows? Um,
Well, when I see like those videos of people like killing the crab while like boiling while he's alive, that just
oh
disgusts me.
yeah, I
Nah,
feel
not for me.
nope. I'm the same way. Okay,
Sorry.
no, you're good, bro. Um, but now I want to end kind of like on a lighter now. So after every interview, I always ask whoever I'm interviewing, um, what is something like if someone had to come into this like podcast or someone listened to this stream, right? whether they heard the entire thing, they heard bits and parts, they didn't hear anything at all. What is something you would want? What kind of like knowledge or kind of like saying or whatever it may be? What is something that you want to leave behind for the people listening?
Uh, a good question. That's a good one. What I want people to understand, it's like we talk about loads of things that like they are like subjects that are like a bit hard to understand for some people. What I want people to take from this interview is like just be yourself and just enjoy life as much as you can, because one day you are here, the next day probably you are not. So enjoy it. Don't make like streaming as your only thing to do in life, because if you are only focused on that, uh, and you forget about everything else, what more can you expect in life? So enjoy every minute of it, if you can, but don't forget about the rest.
No, I think that's a great piece of advice to leave off on. Like I'm still learning that to this day. I think a lot of people are still learning that to this day. But most importantly, like just be true to yourself, be true to what you do, and just enjoy life in every aspect, not just in one singular aspect. Life moves by too fast. This whole world, we don't have as much time as we'd like to. We don't even know how much time we even truly have. So why not take the opportunities to enjoy these moments while they're here and while we can? Um,
Exactly.
I truly love that. Dark, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I always love talking to you about like the streaming world, but I like talking to you more and hearing your side and your opinions on things because like I said, you bring an openness and like a heartfelt openness to whenever you talk. And even when you talk, you even try to understand other people's perspectives. And I think in my opinion that's almost like a lost art nowadays because everybody's so like either they're one side or they're not even trying or whatever. But most importantly, Dark, I hope that whatever you do with the streaming world, like I hope that the blessings come towards you and towards anything that you do inside this streaming world, outside of life and all that. I continue to be there for you as much as I can, but I can't wait to see you not only in your next stream, but I can't wait to just be there for you in general. You are an awesome human being. You are an awesome person, and I know your heart is genuine whenever you do these things. And
I appreciate that, and honestly, it was my pleasure. And I was like, um, I would say, generally expecting for this interview. I was like, having butterflies. Like, what the fuck am I going to talk about?
yeah.
What going to be the questions? What I'm going to say? And it's the first time I do something like this. So,
Hmm.
uh, like I say, every day, either on in the streaming world or outside of it, each day I try to be a bit better than the day before. But sometimes it isn't how things happen. It isn't the way we want. So
Hmm.
we should go minute by minute and take a step at a time, and just don't force ourselves into something we are not. And
Hmm.
it's just the way I am. I like to support people. I want to see them in the same place I am, because people should be seeing themselves as equal.
Hmm.
So, and instead of like saying I'm better than you and you are the worst and this and that, just enjoy. And even though we doing the same thing, we are streaming, and we are like working in a way for the same boss.
Hmm.
We just have to have fun instead of like throwing stones at each other. Just have fun. It's normal behavior to like say some things you feel at the moment, which is normal. It's normal to tweet something that might seem uh, a bit harsh towards some people. It is normal. It's normal behavior from a human being. It's something that should be accepted. But like people should respect each other, even though you are not like, how can I say this? Even though you are not like in the same line of like thought, the same line of thought of that person, that doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful towards them. Even though you do not accept, or you think what they are saying it's not correct,
Mm-hmm.
just try to respect, and that's it. You have your opinion, that's something you are entitled. So respect their opinion, they will respect yours. It is what it is. And unfortunately, some people tend to like go through some lines they should not go. And yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. So we
Yeah,
just have to be ourselves and do what we like, and s- probably start to like forget about what other people are doing and focus on what we are doing. That's the most important thing, because people unfortunately tend to look at others like, this guy is doing amazing, I want to be like them. No, you want to be like you. Don't look at others like, it's normal to like see others as your idols, or like someone you like look up to, but look for you, for yourself, as what you are doing. That's the most important thing, not what they are doing. They are doing their thing, do your thing. It is what it
absolutely.
is.
No, absolutely. You that's a brilliant point to bring up. Like, don't worry about what others do. Do you? Because at the end of the day, you're not that person. You're you. Might as well
You're
be
not that
you.
guy.
I'm not. You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. All right, Doug. Thank you so much for the interview. Thank you so much for talking, and I'll definitely be catching up with you soon enough. All right.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right. You have a great night,
Have a
man.
lovely day. I appreciate that.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, chat.